All right, awesome. So, for those of you that are joining us, thank you and welcome to Breakfast and Dragons. And where we like to say here that the characters are made up, but the trauma's real. So, couple really quick announcements before we go straight into this dungeon that everyone's been excited for. One, I'm so happy to have everyone here for the rest of this dungeon. That's great. So those of you that do follow us, our other campaign, Thrain, was canceled this last Tuesday. Uh, Instead, we will be bringing you a brand new episode on the 20th at 7 p.m. EST, and then the following week we'll bring you another brand new episode at its regular airing date of the 27th at 7 p.m. EST. So, hey, back-to-back Thrain. That's kind of awesome, like 2 weeks in a row. Another announcement, the next episode of Breakfast and Dragons that you're watching right now, we will have a special airing, and this will all be in our schedule. We'll have a special airing Monday night at 7 p.m. EST for the next episode, but if you're not able to watch it then, that's Monday night, the 26th at 7 p.m. EST. If you're not able to watch it then, don't worry. Our regular next airing date, which is the 1st of May, we'll see a rerun of that episode. So, you're not missing out. With that, I'm going to hand the announcements over to Jacob, who has a really fun announcement for everybody.
Those of you joining us in chat might notice a new little friend that we have hanging out with us. If you would like to, you can ask them who they are, and they will respond. They will be hanging out, sitting on Bill's head for the duration here. Little pet I found as a little thing to just be fun and whatnot, and is inspired by the little dragon that
See if I can get them in
Trish's character has recently found herself followed by. So, yeah, hang out with them if you have any questions on commands and whatnot. I'm hoping to kind of fill out some more things around that, some things that subscribers will be able to do. That if you sub, you can interact with them more directly. There'll be a few things here and there. I'll work up figuring out something on what we can do with that. If you're familiar with Copamon already, then you may already know what some of those commands and interactions are. So feel free to have fun with them.
I have no idea what it is. It sounds exciting to me. So, on that note, if we have nothing else, we will delve back into the world of Straterra, where we left off. So, finally, stepping down into the lower chambers of Broken Gate, your party encountered a room that was completely marked up and chalked up by the past expedition from the Queen's College in New Arcadia. Recognizing the scrawling to be the handwriting of his uncle, Killian was able to help translate, and with the help of Ben, retranslate some of the mistranslated old ancient Arcadian texts. Being able to find a arcane gift, you triggered a magic mouth that gave you a hint to solving the puzzle that leads down further into Broken Gate. Encountering defensive measures left behind by the new Arcanian military, you were able to put down these two creatures and solve the puzzle of what was keeping the door shut. It revealed a flooded passage that leads further down. Arth, investigating on his own, triggered several magical traps, taking some damage, but he arrived in a completely flooded crypt, and as we last left off, the party was preparing to join them. So, the dungeon is yours. What are we doing?
Yeah, weren't we doing the water breathing?
I believe we had some potions of water breathing to be passed around, if memory serves. So, I guess I should pull up my inventory. Was I packing one of those as well? I don't even remember.
I think I had.
I had
one.
already clicked the consume, so.
I have two myself, so I will drink one of mine.
Yeah, I think I had given up mine. I
Yeah.
think we bought them for everybody.
I do not look to have one in my pack. So if somebody else has an extra, I don't think I was ever given one.
I have 2. I'll give you
Here,
one.
here you are, Oliver.
Mm.
I've been
Thank you.
holding it for you.
He will bear maul the tiny potion and sip it down.
Oh man, is it me or is this just a real unfortunate taste?
Yeah.
Tastes like
Oh.
Oliver's socks. Not that I've tasted Oliver's
Why
socks.
do you know what?
It's what I imagine Oliver's socks would taste like.
Oh, that's so disgusting. As I start heading down.
Oliver
the
looks
stairs.
down at his like sandaled and bone guarded feet. I don't wear socks. What did?
Ugh.
But if you did,
Hmm.
As you start entering the water bin, this water is cold.
Feels like home. And Oliver just heads down into the water, taking a moment to adjust himself to the notion of being able to breathe underwater. I think he would instinctively dive under and have to like remind himself that that's a thing.
I have a problem every time my daughter listens to Frozen now. Every time they listen to the shopkeeper, I just hear Oliver. It's like,
being someone blew out. Did you guys spend any of my spell slots?
Many
last-
things on sale.
I thought we took a rest. Did we not take a rest?
We did not. I don't believe.
No. Okay.
Actually, Killian, I do not think I did.
Okay, no worries.
Wow. I think I cantripped it up and.
yeah, I think he did a lot of cantrips. There
Okay,
was a lot
I mean
of
that's
them
what I do
left.
most of the time anyway. So that's fine
Yeah.
by me.
But as a small bit of housekeeping, Larissa, Oliver, and Hearth all have Gift of Alacrity on them.
Yes.
Is that the initiative thing?
Yeah.
D8 on initiative. Yeah.
You
And you-
weren't here, so you didn't get one.
That's fair.
And you cast that as soon as you came down to the dungeon, so it should last 8 hours.
Yeah, it's 8 hours.
Bill knows D&D. Yeah. So, the party taking your steps into this cold water, adjusting what you need to. Oliver, you're like the old polar bear guys in Chicago. You're like, yeah, you're fine. Trudging down these steps, you start seeing the construction that was described to you by Oliver last time, of the walls with very similar carvings to the chamber above. The way that everything looks, it's obvious this isn't meant to be flooded, but it has been flooded for a very long time. There's starting to be patches of sea algae that are growing on the cobblestones, and it's slippery in some places, but you find yourself catching yourself till eventually you do come across an area that looks recently scorched, with the algae being dead and the walls blackened. That is obvious signs of Hearth setting off one of these arcane glyphs that was on the floor. Now,
Does it look
Hearth.
like there is anything still to be triggered or like anything problematic as we're heading down, or does it look like it was a one and done kind of situation?
this
Right.
one that you encountered, it does look like it has gone off.
Okay.
And there's a lot of damage. It doesn't look like it's one of those resettable traps. Switching to Hearth real quick. Hearth, as you come down the base of these stairs, and you see around you 4 pillars, and wrapped in almost a wax covered linen, these bodies that are bound to stone planks on the sides. It looks to be a crypt of some type, very filled all the way to the top of water. Small sea creatures are milling about. Some coral crustaceans have been built Even the coral seems to be forming over the bodies, just to show you how long it's been. This has been flooded. Every step that you take disturbs the silt that is gathered on the floor.
Do the bodies or the platforms that they are resting on have any sort of? Is there any sort of writing?
There's Arcadian symbols, but as you get closer and you notice, being a cleric of ancient Arcadia, you're familiar with some of the funeral rites, and a lot of them would have an epitaph of their deeds, especially in a crypt like this that was part of a temple. Epitaph of their names and deeds. It's other than the overgrowth of coral and sea creatures that you see that has grown up upon this tomb, a lot of the identifying factors have obviously painstakingly been removed and carved off.
Okay. I'm going to try and investigate. I'm not going to touch, but I would like to try and investigate the bodies themselves to see if they in any way seem like they have a spark of life or animated somehow.
So you're just doing a medicine check, or?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Oh, starting off strong.
With a natural 20. Sad to say,
that's a 27. Totally wasted, probably. But there we go.
With a 27 and a natural 20 on a skill check. Sad to say, there's nothing you can do for this individual. They're dead. They've been dead for a long time. But with the familiarity of funeral rites, the water hasn't really touched the corpse because the way the linens are wrapped, they are wax dip linens, and the entire body has been covered in a thin resin. It seems to be very waterproof, which is probably not something they thought about when they entombed this person, but it's an added benefit, especially considering that the crypts are flooded now. But other than that, they're remarkably preserved.
All right. So that'll just be my series of actions while I'm waiting for the others.
Yeah. Continuing down these stairs, you do eventually find several other explosions that seem to have a little... It's easy to determine that Harsh somehow protected himself, because where you do see the scorch marks of the glyphs going off, you do see a clear area that has not been touched. The passage down is pretty safe with all of these being figured, and eventually the party does. Yeah. Way too many party members.
Bill, you need to assign me Killian.
Oh yeah, that would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Because currently I'm flying Nyx around the map, but I can't see where she is. But the dynamic lighting is adjusting occasionally, so I'm like,
There, it should be assigned to you.
Yeah, got it.
I believe some of us are trapped.
I'm stuck in the wall. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm moving people. Because they did this handy-dandy thing to where DMs can actually move stuff through dynamic lighting now.
And Tannen's off the map.
Noticed that.
That's
I also
super
noticed that.
convenient.
Not there.
No, he's saying Tannen should not be there.
Tannen is gone. Although that would be cute, a cat underwater.
I realized that as a familiar, I could theoretically make him anything, but he's a fucking cat. So...
Right.
He's a very special boy.
Okay, joining Hearth down below, you see the scene that I just described to him. The this entire tomb is flooded with salt water. Creatures of various types, small, harmless sea creatures, crabs, and various different things just scuttle away from you. It's kind of unnerving seeing this coral built up and crawling creatures over these preserved corpses that are wrapped in ceremonial linens covered in wax and resin.
As Ben's kind of floating there, taking it all in and looking around, realizing this is a crypt, kind of unnervedly pause at the door, and like whoever's coming, or at the entrance, whoever's coming behind him almost bumps into him. So, sorry. Continues in.
But what does Ben sound like underwater?
Oh, sorry.
Oliver would make his way up to Hearth and lay a hand on Hearth's shoulder, and just kind of take a look around and kind of follow Hearth's lead from there, but just making sure that Hearth is aware that everyone is there.
Right. And all of you will notice, too, that the darkness of the space is being pierced by this lantern effect from Hearth's chest.
Which is why I'm not asking who has dark vision, because
Right.
you have a lantern, like
walking very bright lantern.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead.
I will additionally provide myself some light in the process. Yeah, the light spell.
So, stretches out before you at the end through the light produced by Hearth and Ben, the combination of the two. You see particles of silt just kind of floating within this water, eerily silent, very unnerving. This crypt of dead, crypt of dead, like dead bodies laying before you.
So
Can I do the I think it's the thing background picture where I get to look at the architecture?
Yeah.
What is that? Historical knowledge. When you enter a ruin or dungeon, you can correctly ascertain its original purpose, determine its builders, and just kind of general knowledge about maybe why these people were buried here or who they were or anything like that.
Okay. Given your background as an archaeologist, this is obviously a ceremonial crypt for people of importance that had to do with the temple or the tower. You are aware that with the architecture that you saw outside, the remnants thereof, this was an important tower of in ancient Arcadia. Also, Ben let you know because he was there.
I mean, I knew that, but I know that we've gone underground a couple times and the architecture has changed, and so I'm kind of checking for that.
This architecture is older. It does predate the architecture you saw up above. One thing that does stick out, and very common from delves that you've done before in burial sites, there is a period in Arcadian history called the Dark Age of Magic. A lot of the ancient Arcadian architecture didn't survive, as if something happened in the Dark Age of Magic where a lot of it was vandalized and changed. This is very similar. The architecture does stretch back before the Dark Age of Magic, before the fall, before the collapse of Arcadia, but it seems like someone came back behind it and is, for lack of a better terminology, erasing history. Names and dates and deeds of these people of honor have been erased. Sometimes very unskillfully, as if obviously someone took a hammer and chisel, and just the glyphs and a lot of the images are still there, but they've gone in. Like, if you ever watched any of the historical documentaries on Egypt, usually when one pharaoh goes in, they try to erase the history of another pharaoh, so you would have stuff carved on top. That's very much what you're seeing here.
Hearth is going to look back towards Ben and just tap
You're
their
still
head.
connected with him.
Oh, okay. It seems the epitaphs have been removed.
Almost as if he's in a daze, not completely there. Oh, it appears you're right. Who would do that?
Are we completely underwater?
Yes.
So is communication like? Can we still hear each other normally, or is it just like
They're
how
telepathically
does that
linked
work?
at
I'm
the
speaking
moment.
telepathically.
Okay, gotcha.
Hence the accent change.
I've seen conversations on other streams and conversations in forums. If you can't actually hear each other underwater when you're underwater, so I'm gonna rule that you can just for the sake of brevity.
Okay. It just
Well,
sounds distorted.
Ariel found it asking to hear each other underwater.
I go with Bill, Ariel, and Sebastian, and Flounder hear each other underwater. No, it's canon.
It would seem to me that it might be reasonable if we're like far away from each other for us to have to try and make a perception or something to try and deduce what's said, but things can actually be pretty clear underwater.
Sound actually carries quite well underwater. It's normally just difficult to speak.
You all have to start making whale noises. That's my ruling. It's like,
is Hearth visually hurt?
Yes.
I tell that. Okay.
yeah, he's got scarring. There's some plates that are in different sections. He's obviously took some damage going through those traps.
I'll put my hand on your shoulder and be like, "Come here, friend. Hang on a second. Do robots does healing magic work on you? I'm not sure how that. Well, don't worry. Let me just try it. And then I'm gonna put my hands over your damaged plates, and you'll see like a soft yellow-ish glow. And you'll also see the medallion on my chest glow. And I'm gonna burn a cure wounds on you, level 2. And heal for 12.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so stretching out before you, this water-filled tomb leading off into the darkness.
I'm gonna start walking forward.
All right.
I'm being like fairly careful. I know that Hearth has triggered a magical trap recently, so actually I think I have detect. So if you are, how about it's a ritual?
But you
I
let
think
me
going
go first.
upstairs, but I had to drop it for other spells.
Bill, it's up to you. If you want to say that we can like hand wave, and I did that like up above before we came down here, that's up to you. But if not, we gotta wait 10 minutes.
No, that's fine. So, Larissa, did you say something?
I was gonna say, if he just let me go first.
Can you detect magical traps?
I can detect traps, period, but it's up to Bill. I have that investigative rogue, and then I have the wand of secrets.
I don't know what the wand does, but I'm pretty sure like the rogues, it's like mundane traps, whereas detect magic is for magical traps. Or
depends on the makeup of the trap.
Yeah.
But it's the party's decision.
That's fine. I'll proceed forward. I'm being fairly careful, kind of taking in the architecture and just looking for if anything changes.
Okay. First off, roll me a perception.
Okay. I lost my character. There it is. 14.
14. All right. Continuing forward, you do start to notice these bodies. The mummification ritual wasn't entirely perfect, or something eventually got into the corpses. A lot of them are torn open, and you start seeing a very unnerving sight of the skeletons are covered in coral. They're kind of beautiful in some respects. Of a body as long been exposed to this environment would have rotted away or just naturally just decomposed, even the skeletal structure. But what you're seeing before you on these slabs are almost a coral outline of what the skeleton used to be.
We're gonna have to fight these skeleton coral mother effers. I'm not looking forward to this.
With a 14, by the time you get to the end of this hallway, you are almost hit smack dab with an unnerving. No, Bill can't talk today. Unnerving sight. Before you, out of the darkness, out of the light of hearth, comes floating a large, solid white albino crocodile.
Oh,
Oh no!
fuck me.
So,
Oh, guys, this thing's large.
as Killian is heading forward, Hearth, you feel the almost like gentle white noise hum in the back of your mind of the connection that Ben is actively maintaining with you fade. And Larissa, you hear in your head, you should probably go up there before he kills himself.
So
Killian, very important. Roll me a stealth check.
I'm gonna, yeah.
Control. Okay, that's not terrible. That's not great.
Ruh-roh.
It's a 16.
16. As this large creature very silently comes floating out of the darkness with its legs tucked in close to its body, kind of slithering, very unnerving through the darkness. It looks at you, and you notice its eyes are completely white.
Okay.
As it turns and starts swimming in the other direction.
Oh, guys.
Ooh.
I'm fucking frozen. Okay, Larissa, kind of like if you're walking up behind me, like I am like mid-step, hands like up, like completely frozen in place.
Okay.
And as I feel you coming up behind me, I put my arm out, and I'm like, very slow back. And I'm gonna retreat to the party as carefully as possible, like without trying to make. I'm trying not to make like any waves or like ripples in the water.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna try to stealth back if at all possible.
So getting back to the party, I'm going to like very gently gesture for you all to like come in, like for a huddle, you know.
Huddle up, team. Huddle up.
Hello.
Sorry, go ahead.
Killian is white and just like he looks scared, more scared than you've ever seen him before.
What did you see?
This is we're in someone else's home right now. There is an albino crocodile. It's about twice your size, Oliver. I saw its eyes. I don't think that they can see, which means their other senses, sensing movement and the ripples in the water, I imagine, are stronger.
soon as you mentioned the word crocodile, you see like Larissa try not to shake because she just crocodiles.
And I only saw one, but who knows how many more there are.
Hmm.
You hear her kind of mumble her breath like, why always crocodiles?
Well, it's either through it or go back.
Any solutions to get past these beasts, or we're just gonna, pray?
I find praying doesn't work very much.
Depends on your benefactor, and then I tap the medallion on my chest.
Well, Hearth also says, I find it works quite well sometimes.
Says the cleric.
Yes.
Radiating with magical energy.
What you talking about, mage?
Well,
Ben's more of a psyker than he is a mage.
I don't think back is really an option, so perhaps we move slowly and quietly.
So, Bill, here's what I want to do. I want to prepare my shatter spell.
Okay.
And I can throw that 60 feet. Now, I mean, it's a spell, so I can place it 60 feet. So I imagine I can just kind of like float my little shatter grenade to 60 feet away from me and detonate it. So what I want to do is, as we're proceeding, I want to have that in my hand, and if one of the creatures goes to attack me, I want to throw it 60 feet away from us to try to create ripples. Not necessarily to damage anything, but just to create ripples and attract it to that location.
Yeah, you want to try to make a decoy.
Yes.
Oh, from where me and Killian were, past that one largy crocodile, how far is it?
How far is what?
You can see to the edge of Hearth's light. So how far is your light, Hearth?
I believe 120 feet.
So I think that's what we see on the map right now. That's as far as we can see.
But
yeah,
let me
pretty
double
much.
check that.
His icon just disappeared for me, so that's why I was trying to figure out how far.
Okay, so 120-foot cone. The closest 60 feet is bright light. The farthest 60 feet is dim light.
Okay, so the crocodile's icon passed away from me. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because Bill's being a dick and moving it around.
Oh, okay.
To fuck with us.
I was just wondering if I can Missy step past it, but if it's that far away, then probably not.
I mean, that's definitely an escape plan. If they start attacking, you can kind of like bloop away. But
yeah, I'm going to move a bit out to sea.
And I'll explain my plan to you guys. So I'll be like,
what we're looking at.
This spell should create a ripple in the water. Hopefully, it'll draw them away from us if they sense us. Just need to be careful.
If they are close enough, they will likely sense me. And you all look and see the armor and body of.
And then he rolls with disadvantage.
I see.
And Ben's just bad at it.
I can go first and try to speak with them if necessary, but I can't make any promises. Best to avoid if we can, obviously.
Yeah, but
as they're talking, Ben is like very absent from the conversation and is looking around. Are any of the names and deeds remaining on these coffins or internment sites?
As you go, there's much as in any crypt or any ancient crypt, there were people of prominence. The people of prominence, their names have been removed. As you go in, you see more simpler places laid to rest, people not as important. Most of them don't have any identifications, but it does look like someone went through very methodically and removed names of people.
So they're all gone, is the question. Okay, cool.
So, from what you've seen so far, yes.
As he's looking around and walking up, he almost bumps into Larissa. Oh, sorry.
I hear that, and I said, Ben, I need you to focus, friend. I know this is a lot for you. I get it, but crocodiles, big ones.
So I need
points. Oliver, big one.
Bigger than him.
And, like, Larissa just kind of looks at you, and her eyebrows quirk, like.
As the party continues through this flooded crypt, I need a combined stealth check from the party.
Okay.
Before we make that, I am going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Can I thematically intentionally fail?
If you want to, yeah.
Just for the thematics of where Ben's headspace is and what he's processing right now, he fails.
Yeah. So you're going in with one failure?
Just a quick bit of housekeeping, because I know this was a thing in the last session. Brandon, are the three of us still linked, you, me, and Larissa?
We would not be at this point.
Or is that out? Okay. I wasn't sure how long. I couldn't remember how long that lasted.
Yeah, just because of the time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mine's a 21.
23.
Could have been worse.
Well, I roll with disadvantage. That sucks. That was a good roll. Not anymore. But it's not terrible. 13.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oliver is also a 13.
Yeah, that's what he's got two.
Okay. So, as the party, struggle busing right now. As the party,
yes, we are
continuing down.
If I could get him on the map real quick, my echo would still be out and following nearby. That never would have gone away from last time.
Oliver Echo.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. So, as the party continues down this tunnel, you're seeing more of the... As you continue further, I do apologize. I've got this echo in my throat. It's hard to get rid of. You're seeing more of an oceanic environment, as if nature has come in and has taken over. You see more coral, more plant life that you would see underwater. As you near this intersection, eerily floating out from here, you see another very large crocodile.
Can I tell if this is the same one or a different one?
This one looks different.
Fuck, guys.
So, Ben was close to me. I'm just gonna kind of like put my hand out in front of him because I don't trust that he's paying attention.
He's literally looking at the wall right now, like running his hand over a carving.
As you step forward, I'm trying to describe the failure. As you step forward, you hear a scraping noise as Har's foot scrapes against a piece of coral he did not notice on the ground, and the crocodile stops floating and instantly turns and stays in the middle of the tunnel. staring in your direction. The two people in front, Oliver and Hearth, you do see it's as much as it can underwater. Its nostrils and its snout seems to be moving back and forth.
Does Killian do anything immediately here?
I'm waiting.
Yeah. If it's not immediately attacking, I'm gonna. I have the grenade in my hand. All I do is like flat palm it, and it floats out of my hand and shoots down the corridor, like 60 feet this way.
All right. So exactly 60 feet?
That's as far as I can put it.
So it'll shatter here.
Okay.
All right. Roll me.
Oh, you're sending it the direction that we're going, or like behind us?
Do you want me to send it past us?
I wasn't sure which way we were going. We were trying to send it.
Are we going?
Yeah, I don't think
straight?
sending it past us is a good idea.
But it forks off, right? There's a left and a straight, if I'm looking at this right.
All right, Killian. Count of 3. Which way are you sending it? Forward or back? 1, 2, 3. Forward. Okay. So you send it here. Roll me damage on it, because I want to see how loud of an explosion it's going to be.
Okay.
Oh,
That
man.
is 9.
9. Okay.
Setting off depth charges.
That's gonna bring it all the way to the yard.
You see very quickly this thing leave his palm going under the crocodile, and it shoots out, and you hear, it's very odd hearing it. You see the explosion underwater and the concussive creation of air, and then the shockwave and the sound hits you of, and immediately this very quickly, quicker than a large creature like this should move, it spins around, its tail almost smacking Oliver and Hearth, and starts down the tunnel. And you guys should be able to see it with Hearth's light, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You see it, and then eventually it comes to and immediately starts trying to snap at the area where the explosion took place, and it is joined by 3 others.
Oh, guys. Okay. For the record, if any of them were in that space when it went off, they would have had to make con save. I don't know if that was.
None of them were.
Okay. If you guys look back to me, I pull another shatter grenade out, and I shrug.
How many times can you do that?
I look down at my belt, and I'm like, 3 more.
That may not be efficient enough. Maybe something more subtle.
Hey, okay, what it worked, didn't it? What else? What else idea do you have?
I don't have many, but it is. It worked. It was incredible. You're so powerful, but.
Wait, is there 4 now, Bill, or is there 3?
There's
It was
4.
joined by 3 more, so there's 4 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Just churning in that space.
They are, and you do eventually see as they're snapping and biting, 2 of them actually snap and bite another. And
Yeah.
White, angry death.
This music's giving me creeps.
Booby.
Bill knows how to do the spoopy. And he takes 13 points of damage.
So that is 60 feet-ish away from us?
That is exactly 60 feet, because he
Okay.
said he wanted to send it 60 feet.
Alright, so Ben's gonna float up just a little closer, and as they're churning and rolling around each other, Ben very quietly and very gently expands his hands open, and you see those like little crystalline, translucent, etheric spikes that he launches through in a lot of his like psychic attacks. And he very slowly slides them as they form into one, and he slides it through his hand, and it vanishes as he casts Mind Sliver. So an intelligence saving throw against the one that was down here right by us, if I can still identify it. If not, just one at random.
Give me a really quick perception check to even, because these things are white, rolling, and in darkness, just to see if you can figure out which one that one was.
18.
Okay. You have a pretty good feeling it's the one closest to you.
If I can't identify that that's the one, I'm going to pick one that's not being actively wounded by the others.
Okay. But you have, with an 18, you have a pretty good feeling that's the one.
Okay, so an intelligence saving throw from it.
Well, too bad, because they have like a 20 for intelligence.
Right, super smart. So smart.
Checks out. Totally checks out.
By the way, just to say, this whole encounter was inspired by Bill watching the movie Crawl.
Well,
I watched that recently. Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it.
Brett is a sucker for like shitty horror or monster movies, so yeah, we watched them.
So Tabitha. Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of supernatural, but sci-fi horror and real life natural horror like Crawl, like Crawl could happen.
Like all the crappy like shark movies, like Brett's all over those.
God.
Okay. I rolled a 14 with a negative 4.
Okay, so
it's 10.
He fails, and he takes 9 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
And the idea is that, like, as they're snapping at one of them, he feels like suddenly he was wounded by one of the other ones. And so I'm trying to keep the instigation rolling.
You're trying to make a death funnel, is what you're trying to do. I get what you're doing. Okay, so
I'm also concentrating on that. Oh, sorry, wrong spell. He has a D4 subtracted to his next saving throw before the end of the turn.
Okay, unless you guys are going to react, since a round is 6 seconds, over the course of the next 18 seconds, these two of these creatures are torn apart by the other two.
Oh fuck.
And the surviving two, although wounded and scarred, are each having a meal of the ones that have been slain.
I'm gonna look at Killian. Okay, I take it back. You're a genius.
I shrug. I'm going to advance and look in this room over here.
Oliver will take up position kind of here, keeping an eye that direction, his echo hanging back towards the back, while other people investigate things.
I'm not going in, I'm just kind of sitting in the doorway. I still have that shatter grenade in my hand.
You see what was once a crypt, but obviously is now home to a not in there anymore, but was home to a crocodile.
Okay.
Kind of nesting. There's debris shoved in the corners. One area made really soft.
Are there eggs in a nest?
No. This is just... Crocodiles don't nest underwater, but they do actually have little burrows that they will go and lay. And this is more of an underground burrow.
Okay.
Any solutions for how to deal with the last two? Do you just want to try to? I don't. They look They look hurt. We just want to try to put them out of their misery.
They also look busy.
But we got to go right by there, friend.
I mean, there was another tunnel back there. We don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
True enough. Well, do we want to try to pass by them while they're busy, or do we want to leave them here while they eat and go explore the rest of this tunnel?
Bill. Kind of stretching the thematics of Ben just a little bit. Ben, I would like to kind of open my consciousness just a little bit. Think like leaning into the whole psyker concept. Think like a psyker basically sensing what's around him. And I would like to use an Arcana or a Yogg-Sothory kind of skill check to kind of sense where there might be a nexus of power nearby.
Okay.
That's the goal, anyway. And if I can't do it, that's cool too. But
roll me an Arcana.
Okay. I'm good at these. I'm not as good as I wish I was. 17.
So, what you're trying to do is you're trying to perceive where the weave is strongest.
Basically.
Given your time as limited it is that's been spent on the island, you've felt that omnipresent aura creeping in the back of you guys' mind. That malaise, that lethargy of emotion. You guys have been fighting it this entire time. By feeling the presence of the Shadowfell that's prominent on this island, that you have learned through various investigations that the doorway between the realms is wide open as it is. That being said, you do feel, with a 17, you do feel that presence getting stronger and more oppressive the deeper you go down this tunnel.
So Ben's kind of opened his consciousness a little bit, and you all just see Ben, and there's a moment where like the water kind of ripples just ever so slightly, almost like you're looking through an oasis illusion around him, or specifically around his head, and then he puts a hand up against the wall. We're getting closer to some sort of nexus of power. The doorway between worlds. It's down here somewhere. And he points down the tunnel we're going down.
Well, good to know we're going the right way, I suppose.
Well, if we're going that way, I heft the grenade and I say we take care of those last two friends down there.
I would say that we may not need to kill them. If they come for us, I do not know many beasts that will throw themselves on death. They may flee from us.
They also are having a meal. They are likely to leave us be.
For now, yeah. But if we have any, if we need to stay down here for any amount of time, I'm afraid that they're just going to continue to cause us problems. And I'm sorry, but I don't want those creeping out at me from the darkness.
Again.
Well,
Thank you, Ben.
then perhaps we do so more quietly than something that may draw anything more.
How wounded do they appear?
They, these two, much as like two gladiators in a fight, they've taken their scrapes. But they've obviously been the victors. And
Understood.
they don't look as bad as the... And do you have a feeling the fight may have continued if the ones that died didn't die apart?
I can try to bait them back at each other.
I think we should leave them be as much as possible.
As much conversation that's going on right now, I've been kind of a little laxed on it, but I need another party stealth check
Okay.
from you guys.
Oh, God. Fuck.
This one's worse.
4.
Mine was almost in that 1, and then it rolled over to a 7, so I have a 13.
Mine's better.
Oh God, we're all just sitting here talking.
I know. Nope.
We've completely lost track
like,
of paying attention to them as Hearth and I are trying not to kill these crocodiles.
Larissa disappears into the shadows behind us as we turn around and they're there.
Oh no.
No, hers is bad too.
Mine's bad too. Yeah,
Oh,
mine was a 12. And I don't. Yeah.
So, as you guys are sitting here having this conversation about what to do with the crocodiles beforehand, as you guys are looking back at Ben and Larissa, out of the darkness comes a familiar open maw of a crocodile as it goes to bite Ben.
Checks out.
He's got the light spell too, though.
Can we react or no?
Yeah.
I was gonna say
It's gonna be a surprise attack because you guys are loud. But I am rolling for it. Ooh, might not be good. 12
does not hit.
Not hit.
And totally accidentally, Ben gestures with his staff, and his staff knocks the crocodile in the nose, and it knocks the attack off.
The moment this thing comes around and attacks, Oliver blips to his echo and lunges forward with the sword.
All right, so roll for initiative.
Game on, y'all.
Oh.
So hold on, let me
know when you got the tracker up.
We got a fun thing here with Kaida. If I can spell.
Yes, you did.
Let me
should
just
react.
There
we go.
Real quick.
Yay!
I demand a trial by combat.
Could be in trouble with that.
Reminder of the D8s for those of us that have.
Wait, I missed it. Do it one more time.
Oh yeah, I just did.
Oh man, yeah, that's much better. That's gonna be 23 for Oliver.
Oh, okay. I'm missing Hearth. That's who I'm missing.
The gift of alacrity is +8.
Ben, did you roll a 20?
D8.
I did.
Wow.
Oh,
congrats.
snap.
Larissa, what's yours?
It's a dirty 20. It's not a natural 20.
A 7 with the +8. With the D8.
Oliver?
23.
Killian?
20. I think I also got 3. Sorry, 22.
Hearth?
13.
Other question, Brandon. Did you spend any of my bardic inspiration last session?
One or two, I think.
I don't think I did because you didn't have any left.
But we had
one left on
long
my sheet
rested.
currently.
Yeah, but he had done some stuff. I think in the searching the thing. Had we? No, I couldn't change your sheet. So
Yeah, I get it. Okay, that's fine.
No, but we did long rest in that. We did long rest in the grove.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you should be full up. I would say, just to be conservative, mark 1 down. I think it was likely I maybe used 1.
Okay, that's fine.
This map is brought to you, while everyone's figuring it out, this map is brought to you by Astral and Heroic Maps, with the combination of these really awesome water GIF on top of their tombs. I was able to make a really cool sunken tomb.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. All right, are we ready to go then?
Yep, we are ready. It should be Oliver's turn. The crocodile seems to be shaking its snout from the beep on the boot to the snoot, by Ben.
Beep to the boop. On the boop.
Alright. Actually, I need to mark this. I am no longer hasted. That needs to go away. It's long since passed. My AC is not that high. Okay. So, since we are underwater and this is all going to be pretty heavily strained, I will make these attacks reckless to cancel out the disadvantage.
Okay.
So swinging in with the Magician's Judge for 2 quick attacks on this thing. The first one is a nat 20.
You definitely hit.
Are our melees at disadvantage because of the water? Correct.
Yes.
There's certain certain weapons that can be used underwater without disadvantage, but it's like dagger, short sword.
Right.
I think spears, technically, if they're not thrown.
It's mostly piercing weapons because they consider you can't get the swing in, which makes sense.
Whew. All right, that is a really solid roll. That's 18 plus 2 plus 5. So 25 points of damage on the first attack.
So as this creature goes to bite Ben, and Ben like smacks it in the back with his cane or his staff, Oliver switches with his echo and decapitates this creature.
And I will, Oliver will then kind of like shift over towards Ben, make sure that he's okay, but that will end Oliver's turn.
Ben is like barely had time to register that it happened.
No, that is not the proper reaction.
Oliver, a little surprised that this enormous beast went down quite that quickly. Just kind of hefts the sword and looks at Ben and just kind of gives him a nod and then looks back down the hall to see if anything else has reacted.
As you look back down the hall, what were you going to say, Ben?
Just a thematic thing. You're good.
As you look down the hall, you do notice that the two that were having a meal stop what they're doing, and their snouts kind of go up, and they start slowly turning, looking your direction as they start swimming down this hall.
So I see Oliver decapitate the crocodile. I turn back around and I see them start to come our direction, and then I do the same thing, flat palm, the grenade flies out of my hand.
We're still in initiative order.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's my
next.
Okay. All right. Yeah, cool. All right, sorry.
Yeah, I get it. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna place the bomb. Actually, I want to place it behind them in the tunnel here.
It's about to say, you know your turn. Stay in your lane. All right. So, and this is this is the shatter one. It's
shatter
feet?
spell. It's a 10 feet radius, so I should be able to hit both of them. Yeah.
Are you putting it there? Actually,
yeah.
Here, it's assigned to you. Put it where you want it.
Yeah, that's. let's do that right there.
Okay. So,
So they make a con save, and they take half if they succeed.
one rolls a
Damage
17 and one rolls a 15.
Okay. The save is 16, so one saves, one fails. The damage is 16 or 8 halved.
Okay, so
Much
instantly.
higher damage roll on that one.
Yeah. So instantly you say one's a 16 if they fail?
Yes.
So you see this one takes the full shock of the thunder concussive underwater, and it just goes belly up and floats to the top of the tunnel. And this one takes 8 points of damage. It's still up, But let's see here. Since it happened right next to him, I'm going to impose the difficulty. It looks very confused with the sound going off and it stays put.
Cool. In that case, I was thinking about moving, but I'm also going to stay put. And then, if you want, I can roll a stealth check. I'm trying to be very still.
You're not a rogue, so you can't.
Okay, that's fine.
That's like a little roguish ability.
That is my turn.
Okay, so Ben.
Almost absently, Ben just kind of flicks a hand towards the crocodile, and it you just for a split second swear you see one of those little translucent etheric spikes, and it needs to make an intelligence saving throw, please. Good roll.
-2.
Okay. It takes 11 points of psychic damage.
Nice.
And is lobotomized. But that's like the absent-minded thing Ben does as he's looking at Oliver very strangely.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
All right, and with that very quick exchange, with less than 6 seconds, silence comes over the tunnel again. As you sit there trying to catch what breath you can underwater, as another one,
Son of a bitch,
slowly floats through the carnage.
They're everywhere.
And disappears.
Oliver is watching that one go past. After it's passed, looks back at Ben. Are you okay?
And on that note, Ben will answer when we come back from a very quick bio break, because someone just messaged me and can we have a bio break? Because I think I've literally scared the pee out of somebody.
Sounds good.
All right, then in that case, we'll be back in just a minute, folks. Hang with us. All right.
And we're back. Yay. So, as we last left off, Oliver was looking to Ben.
Are you okay?
Yes. I look at Oliver and look at his echo. Interesting. You say these are your ancestors?
Yes, they protect me. I feel I am stronger with them than I used to be. I think they have more to show me.
Shows. We could talk about this all day. They exist outside of time. I'm not omniscient by any means, and I don't know the future, but you can, once you learn to read the threads, you can see it unraveling in front of you, but that translocation moment, it is like I saw you there, and then you were not there anymore. It's a strange way to manipulate time.
I do not claim to completely understand how it works, but it is a thing they allow me to do.
At this point, like, I'm looking at the echo more than Oliver. And then continuing down the tunnel.
And I think, like, as you look at it, especially considering that you're like trying to visualize how they work, you probably momentarily see others in the area, particularly ones standing close by to people in the party. Little flits of them, and then they fade. But always staying close by to everyone that's near me.
And so Ben looks back at you, and you can see his eyes have this like green glaze over them, and then it fades. Talk more later.
Yes, better quiet right now. There's more. And Oliver will look back down the hallway and head off.
Yeah, I will have liked to have moved
Mm-hmm.
into the bigger space to just get a view.
Once again, in Larissa's head, that like soft white noise of the connection with Ben, you hear, they'll probably all die if we don't help them.
I say that's in my head. I say that's a high possibility. So Trish question about thermaturgy. Is that tremor? Like, that's not a real tremor, right? It wouldn't make like ripples in the water.
It does make the ground shake, and and you can make noise with it, but not enough to like damage people.
That's an interesting thought.
But like
using it to like vibrate the water, though. Like if it can tremor the ground, using it to cause disturbances in water.
I'd allow it.
What is the range? What is the range on it though? Oh, 30 feet. Okay, that's pretty good actually.
I've thought about using prestidigitation for the same thing, but the range on prestidigitation is only 10 feet.
Yeah.
Little sounds and
keep that in your back in your back pocket, Trish. That's good.
Yeah.
Super clever. I love clever uses of cantrips. They make me so happy.
Same. Meanwhile, I am taking. You do see Killian take out. He's got 2 shatter grenades left on his belt, and he pulls one of them, and it's in his hand.
Okay. So
wherever Hearth is going, Oliver's echo is like right behind him.
So as you move into this larger area, I need another combined stealth check from the party.
Guys, we can do this. I believe in you all.
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
Nope.
Sorry.
Oh my
Nope.
god! As I roll another 13.
Okay.
Holy shit!
7.
Oh, finally.
This time, Larissa steps in. Just is like, nope.
Oh my gosh.
Guys,
got a
I have a
25.
+6 to stealth, and I rolled a 7.
Oh gosh.
I'm
I have
literally-
a +8 in stealth, so think how I felt the last time.
I am literally not even wearing armor, and I am rolling horribly.
Okay, so how many got below a 15?
I got a natural 1.
So
Okay,
4.
I got below 15 as well.
Okay, so as you
That's how I felt the last time, you guys.
as you step into this open area, you notice that the ground is littered with bones. As several of you step on femurs and different, these are decrepit, coral covered bones. The calcium and everything has broken away, and the coral itself is fragile, as in audibly you hear several snaps and cracks.
And then you
As-
see Larissa next to Ben. It's like kind of like ballerina tiptoeing, not making a sound while everybody else is cooking.
And it's a moment of fear as you step, and the cracking noise almost is very audible under the water. And you see slowly out of the darkness another one float out
Oh, what up, dog?
and just start going another direction, almost as if you're maybe out of the range of its hearing.
Dodged a bullet on that one.
No, we dodged a crocodile.
Yeah. Same thing.
His name was Bullet. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like same thing. It's all good.
So if the
We
party
already caught
stays
one of those.
still, he eventually floats all the way around, just eerily silent in the light, going from one tunnel to the next.
Holding my breath.
Okay, so as he passes, as he passes out of sight, I want to go the opposite direction.
Trying to kind of get a bearing on where we are, as we see that there are multiple ways out of here. I'm not sure which way to go. I can take a moment, but
Hearth is gonna move to this kind of alcove or this tunnel here, and as Ben says that, he's just gonna point down the hall.
So before
sorry,
we
go
go
ahead.
down the hall, can I use can I use my eye for detail? Just to see if like I can see or sense like a hidden creature.
Sure.
Investigation or perception, which one do you want?
With your eye for detail, I believe it's only investigation.
That's a 17.
With your eye for detail, you're not really seeing anything hidden, but you do notice that when these creatures, they are large. These are these are 12-foot long, saltwater sized crocodiles. You start noticing disturbances in the silt that is built up. It's about ankle deep, you guys dredging through this silt. It stirs up the more you move. You're kind of messing with your visibility in a way. The more disturbances, the more disturbed the silt is, goes in the direction that Hearth is pointing, if that means anything to you.
So I'm gonna look at Hearth. I'm gonna say, something is definitely down there. The ground is disturbed, and it goes further and further down as we go this way.
Then that is where I go. And keep moving.
As we move through this chamber here, just the littering of bones across everything kind of gives Oliver a bit of pause, and he would like to see if he can make sense of how so many bones came to be here, or like by what nature it seems like they've collected.
Roll me an investigation check.
Let's let the dogs of war.
Heard that. That's a flat 13. Because he's not good at these things, but...
That was a good ow.
Yeah,
this is very good of
There's a person walking by like outside. How dare he?
How dare they?
Oh, that's like my favorite. That's a good boy. That's like my favorite ow I've heard in a long time. So, it doesn't really make sense to you.
Does it feel unnatural?
The whole environment you're in is not natural to you.
Fair.
Are these bones humanoid?
Yes.
Okay.
And like there are these alcoves with like coffins and whatnot, right? Like,
yeah, and a lot of them are disturbed, and it's been pushed out. It could be something very dreadful that you can't figure out, or it could be something that has a good explanation. You just can't tell with a 13.
Just a bunch of
can I tell whether or not can I tell whether or not it feels like there's more bones than what makes sense to be here from what's in these alcoves? Or do I just not? I can accept that I don't know. I'm just trying to get a basis of how much I don't know.
You don't really have many crypts like this up north, so I'm going to say you wouldn't know.
Okay. Fair enough. If he can't get a base on anything else, then he will continue on, and the echo continues up with Hearth.
Okay. So, moving further down this tunnel, I'm just going to move you guys a little bit. So, moving further down this tunnel.
I'm going to say really loudly while everybody's kind of together, be like, be careful. I believe there's many more of those down here. Down this way specifically.
I'm sure there is.
You come to a large open room with several coffins lining the circular diameter of the room. Ben, the presence, I'm sure you're keeping your keen mind open. The presence that you're aware of so far does seem stronger the deeper you go into this tunnel.
Take this time to remind y'all that these potions that we took, they only last for about an hour, if I remember correctly.
Are there any pockets of air in the tops of these chambers?
Not that you've seen so far.
Okay. I'm going to keep tabs on that.
I think Killian, roll me a nature check. Killian and Larissa.
Okay.
Ben too, why not?
Natural 20.
Nice.
Natural or unnatural 20, dirty 20.
I rolled a 21.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you that got above 16, crocodiles are not aquatic. They have to breathe.
Cool. They got to be here down here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Crocodiles can exist underwater for quite some time, but eventually they do have to breathe. Alright, if nobody has any preferences, I think I'm just going to keep moving forward here.
Bill, do any of these coffins, are they starting to look different or feel different? Or
They pretty much have the same feel. They're all made out of sandstone, the same similar sandstone to the burial chamber that you saw up above. And much to the same way, these are buried in a different style, but the entire name stone placard on the outside of the open crypt is gone.
Have these been disturbed like the others?
No.
Yes. Or disturbed. Oh, you mean like with
Like broken
or-
open?
Are the names like cut off like before or carved
Yeah.
off?
Yeah,
Okay.
they you can see a place as if they've carved a nameplate. The entire nameplate's been chiseled off.
Okay.
And as Hearth sees Ben come somewhere nearby, Hearth taps their head.
I will sever the connection with Larissa and make it with Hearth. You kind of hear that white noise come into the back of your head.
Once again, the epitaphs are missing.
I see this. Excuse me. I see this.
I would suspect, to answer your question from before, that this was a place of the Tanweir.
That is unfortunate. And I don't actually know much about them. I was fairly isolated in my endeavors near the end of, I guess not all time, but I know of them. I knew a few assholes that were sympathetic, but rude of me. I apologize. Continue. We can talk more later when we're not on a ticking clock.
So, as you enter this last chamber, Hearth's light does reveal, resting on this alcove at the top, you see two of the large crocodiles. And you hear the noise that they usually make underwater as they lay still.
Like they're sleeping?
They're not really sleeping, but like they're listening for
Lounging.
Yeah. So give me a combined party.
Alright,
stealth.
guys. This is our time.
I rolled much
Okay.
better
Okay.
than I
Wait.
have in the past.
So I am going I'm going to stealth with everybody else, but I am going to, as we are moving through this area, my echo will make their way over to the closest gator as we move past, as Oliver like prepares to react as they move through.
Okay.
After
Yeah.
using my lucky, I have a natural 20 plus an 8, so it's a 28.
So,
And that is a dirty 20 from Oliver.
so 20, 28,
I rolled a 21.
21,
Hearth is
Gabriel?
going to
12.
12, Hearth.
Hearth is going to hug this wall and scrape along it for
Just as loudly as possible.
4 total.
So walking through, not really noticing it, a bit of where he took that damage, a bit of like sharp armor is scraping along the sandstone, almost like nails on a chalkboard of
He's like looking around trying to figure out who else is making the noise. And we're all looking at him like,
but 3 failures or 3 passes do beat 2 failures.
I'm with you, buddy. I rolled
solidarity.
double digits on a stealth.
Yeah, I'm
It's a
happy
big
for
old
you.
deal.
Hey.
So quiet the successful party members, quieting both Hearth and Ben, are able to silence the noise that they're making, and the saltwater cave crocodiles do not move from their position. As you come around to a set of stairs that lead up to almost a dim light far above.
Hearth is going to. Well, Hearth is going to shut the gates on the ever bright lantern inside their chest and make their way up the stairs.
I will follow.
Ben's
Following-
stat is still growing brightly. Because I can't see.
Making your way up these stairs, a lot of it eventually starts getting collapsed in. And you do notice that you're having to climb, which underwater, it's pretty easy. Having to push yourself over rubble and fallen debris. There was once a grate. You can see the remains of once a great stairwell. Carved along the walls of this large stairs are memorials to various historical moments in ancient Arcadia, many of which Ben and Hearth you would know from predating you. The common depictions of the Dawn War, of the conjunction of the planes, of just various different historical aspects of the founding of Arcadia, the mythology that surrounds your culture is present. As
Is
you
any of
go
it
up.
altered?
A lot of it is carved up and altered, yes.
To Killian, that's not how that happened. This
It's
is
not
changed.
altered in a way to make it look like history happened differently, but you notice that any of depictions of the Al-Qadima, or the Prime Gods, is defaced, disrespectfully.
Have I seen this type of thing before in my archaeological digs?
It's almost
Or read
disheartening
about
to
it.
you. Yeah, it's almost disheartening to you in a way. A lot of the archaeological digs in the Queen's College, especially with New Arcadia, you're wanting to find pre-Dark Age architecture or burial sites before the Dark Age of Magic, when a lot of stuff was ruined. When after the fall, it was always contributed to after the fall of Arcadia, the people that were ruled over by the Arcadians hated them so much that they just went around defacing anything they could find. That was always written off as that. This, after meeting Hearth and Ben, that common belief might not be so much. But yeah, it's a little disheartening because you're kind of hoping to find something untouched.
So when Ben draws attention to this, I'll be like, "This is actually pretty normal. Most ancient Arcadian ruins that we find, especially tombs like this, the histories have been destroyed or erased. We always assumed it was the people rising up and erasing the history of an empire that they hated. That was the common belief, at least."
There's a moment where you can see the confusion on Ben's face. As we loved the Empire. It wasn't perfect by any means, but we can talk later. We're on a clock.
So, as you float up, pushing yourself past this debris, past the epitaphs and the depictions on the wall, you eventually find yourself cresting out of the water in this cave, coming this natural formation. On the banks, far from where you are, at the very edge of Ben's light, you see on the banks around this cave several of those albino crocodiles um, way out of the hearing distance, but obviously sunning and breathing in this dark, dark cave. The light from Ben's staff and Har's chest probably being the first light this area has seen in a long time.
Do we have a map for this, or
Not yet.
just theater of mind? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, theater of mind for right now.
That's fine.
As we're looking around, is this a natural cavern or is this?
It's a
Man-made.
natural cavern, and in the distance, you see just beyond your light, in the dim light of your light, a stairwell that goes up to a plinth and a large door.
And if I take a second to just kind of open my psyche up just a little bit, does this like malaise and that lethargy feel incredibly oppressive here?
It does feel. It does feel pretty strong here. That presence you've been feeling.
This is
All right, so hang on a second. This is hilarious. I'm using this map in my other group on Thursday. Yes, I know this map. That's really funny. DM problems, people.
Oh, that's what you get when you have a group of DMs that play together.
Yep.
Except I highly manipulate my maps.
So
Yeah.
Are you using the green one?
No, it's the one with like the bulls on it. But
Yeah, because they have a
Yeah.
green one, they have an orange one. Yeah.
yeah.
okay. So is this door closed?
It is a very large door for what you see before you. It is a very large bronze, which is, stained green now, door. Carved and forged within its walls are depictions of themes of torture, flayed victims underneath an eerie sky that tentacles are piercing down from the sky, lapping and touching the piles of tortured victims.
Seems like a really pleasant place, guys. Let's go in.
That is awful. You're a horrible person.
Above the door, carved in the stone, is an ancient Arcadian script.
I'm gonna read it.
I read it.
Since 3 of the 5 of us can read that.
It says, "Beyond lies the maze of the heretics. May they never feel the light of the Kahatia again."
Okay, remind me. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep things straight here. The Kahatia were people who those are the god, like the prime gods, right?
Yeah, the gods that
Okay.
are the gods that are worshipped today
Okay,
are.
that's the Kahatia. So this is basically a place where people were banished because they didn't believe in the Kahatia. That's what we're kind of getting from this.
No. Can you read that again, Bill?
Beyond lies the maze of the heretics. May they never feel the light of the Kahatia again.
So this would be like,
This is Azkaban, y'all.
yeah.
I was no Justicar or lawkeeper by any means. I'm an explorer, but this feels like a prison.
Well, that means that any heretics that were put in here have been dead for thousands of years, so we should be pretty safe, yeah?
You are painfully optimistic. I am gonna take a moment to bring Tannen back, and as he appears at Ben's side, and Ben, like as he materializes, Ben is already reaching down to scratch him behind the ear, and I think I may need your help, friend.
What is the symbol on the floor, Bill?
Symbol of the floor is what you see of a tentacled head creature carved in obsidian and gold.
Do I notice it?
Yes.
What is it a representation of?
It is, through your dealings in ancient Arcadia, it is a representation of, even Bill screws up on names sometimes. It is a representation of the Alcadema, or the 13.
Was exactly what my guess was.
Yeah.
Has Ben ever seen this? Because Ben was fairly sheltered in his tower.
I'm going to let you decide that. How involved was Ben in politics back then?
Not at all. Ben was an explorer. From player to DM, we talked about him being focused on exploration. He didn't understand what his exploration was for. He was on the joyful side of it. So, I knew who the Tanweir were, but I didn't really know much about them.
You would know in religion of in mythology and the belief of the ancient Arcadians. They believed that there was a war fought during the creation of the world between the Alcadema and the Kaatia.
Yeah.
The Kaatia were the gods that were worshipped by the Arcadians, and they are the gods that you would know, the primes, the Dawn Father.
Maximus,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was common belief that they put down the Alcadema, the 13 gods of chaos and the void, who used the primordials to rise up and
Rise up.
during the creation. It's the creation myth of that most cultures have. It's various different forms. So you would be aware of it, but a symbol this size in a place of this honor is very strange.
Yeah, Ben looking down is gonna step back quickly as if he's offended or has seen something disgusting. But what is this? Why? They were dissidents. Why?
We are standing in a place that has been, or was, in my time, controlled, usurped, changed by the Alcadema, or by the Tanweir.
How were they?
It seems
There were. That doesn't make sense. There were only a few. They were the minority. How?
A very powerful minority with many silent supporters.
Hey.
It seems, my theory is that the script above the door speaks that possibly this was used as a place to imprison heretics for those that form the power of our time. It was likely a place of banishment. But for those, and Heart's going to look down, who saw the Al-Qadima as the true rulers and creators of existence, it has likely been made into a hallowed place.
Or it is where those who worship the Ka'atia were banished to. We may be going about this all wrong, but we have to get inside to find out. This is where that nexus of power is. We have to do something.
Is it apparent which way the door swings?
If it swings out, because these 4 steps go up, if they swing out, it's going to swing over the steps. You don't see hinges.
So probably swing then.
I'm going to...
Do we open it then? Or try to, at least.
You all will hear Hearth begin to speak in the language that they originally spoke in when you found them, when you woke them up.
You think this is the type of place that might have magical traps or guards?
And as Killian says that, is going to continue with this language of, before all there was the void, throne of the Al-Qadima. The void was chaos, birthplace of the primordials. The Ka'atia forged weapons of law, bringing the dawning war to give birth to death. The Al-Qadima were imprisoned beyond the wall of sleep. The Ka'atia usurped and stole the throne of the Al-Qadima. Just see what happens.
With Hearth speaking the 6 truths of the Tanweir, which would be heretical in your time.
Ben is shooketh and takes a step back from Hearth.
Doth be shooketh.
You hear the ground shakes and a grinding noise starts as the door opens.
Oh shit!
What the fuck?
Hearth looks at everyone and says, as they look back into the space as the doors open, sometimes one must understand fully what one wishes to change.
So we know who held the keys to this place.
I've known since we stepped inside.
I kind of looks at Ben, and, like looks at the door, and, like looks at Ben.
This is all I ever hoped for.
Like,
as you're doing that, Killian, roll me a perception.
16.
Okay, we'll get back to you. Larissa. Larissa, you were saying
Yes.
something?
I was just saying, that's all I wanted to say. Like, I'm looking at Ben, kind of looking at the door, looking at Ben.
Killian, the ground is disturbed. Like it's dust covered. You've been in several burial sites like this. With the moisture, of the water that is flooded in, the dust is kind of turned into like a silt-like mud. In doing so, you do notice something buried near the center of the door, and moving your hand over it, a lot of these doors and Arcadian graves would have had a wax seal to show that it wasn't opened. You find one that's broken.
But do I have any? So, but it's like buried in the mud, meaning it's been broken a while. We didn't just do this, right?
Yes.
So before like anybody steps forward, you see me bend down in front of this thing, and I'll kind of prestidigitate the mud off of it and pick up the wax seal or the pieces of it or whatever.
It's mostly wax and clay that would have been like molded to fit on a certain section of the door, but it is broken cleanly in two as if the door opened at some time.
Do I see like tracks or anything leading in? No. Okay. Okay. I'll just hold up the wax seal and I'll say, this was a seal on the door to show if someone's been here, if the door's been opened. And judging by the mud and things caked on it, this wasn't us. Someone's been here before.
That I have no doubt at this point.
Hearth looks at everyone, takes a step forward,
and explodes.
Completing a journey that began.
The moment he steps forward, Oliver steps directly behind him. Draws a sword and cuts him down. No,
Oh no, Ben. Ben
no, like as he as he steps forward, Oliver will just like follow directly behind and state low.
I'm moving everybody up. He was like, no.
Absolutely not.
We are here with you.
So, as you step in, before you, this room has a metal and stone ward on the floor. Carved in it is the symbol that you see before you, exactly what you see of this star with an eye and depicting in the center runes surrounding all around this symbol. 4 large pillars support this ceiling that stretches up to 12 feet above your head. 4 eldritch-like statues of unknown deities are set within the corners of this room. The door leading before you has a warning carved above it from where you can see in Ancient Arcadian.
Before you get to that, are we just reusing like PNGs for the sake of the map, or are these familiar because we've seen them before?
You've seen these before. Some of them you have, some of them haven't.
Okay, this one specifically in the upper right-hand corner of the room.
Yeah, I recognize that.
And saw in the tunnels in the Dreamlands.
Right.
You have seen this multiple times, yes.
We also saw it in the tunnels. The Oni thing, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it? Or no, it was when we. It was the
under
Scarecrow
the
thing.
Yeah, it was under the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Down in the well in the connected area. That was the one that had like a trap on it.
Yeah.
This one looks familiar to me, and I could just.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
So these 4 statues. If you go to identify them, I will need some skill rolls.
Okay. Well, I'm coming over here to see if this is the.
So, well, hang on. So let's do this role play with Ben at the threshold here, because.
Yeah.
So I'll be like taking the room in, and I'm like, If we want to proceed safely, I think we take a short rest here, and maybe I'll use my detect magic ritual to make sure that there's nothing, safeguards like Hearth triggered earlier. And then, as I'm like talking, I turn and I'm like, Ben, you coming, bud?
Ben is just like blank staring into the room.
I'm gonna walk back out and do what I did last time and just lightly put my hand on his.
That kind of breaks Ben out of his stupor a little bit. Uh, this is wrong.
Kind of like tilt my head at you and go, what do you see?
It's not Arcadia. This can't be. Different. And like as you reach your hand out to hold Ben's, like Ben is holding yours and is almost shaking, but not quite. Just like that.
Hearth
Very,
hears
very uncertain.
when you say this isn't Arcadia. Hearth turns around and the kind of burning light from inside them, especially in the eyes, begins to fade slightly. Hearth walks back to Ben and says, Arcadia was many things, my friend. Beautiful and brave is one of them. But there were others. And now we must come to reckon with them.
We were explorers. We were scholars and researchers and unraveling the mysteries of the universe and the planes and elevating our people.
Arcadia was all of those things, but also, from what I've learned, there was a subclass or an underclass of non-magic users that were tread upon to accomplish these great deeds that you remember, my friend.
We were... I grew up in the tribes, in the desert. I didn't grow up in privilege or wealth, but we were happy, we were cared for. If we needed anything, the mages would come and help. That is not the world I know. That is... wrong.
I understand, Ben. You saw what you saw, and it makes sense to you.
Ben, I can't begin to understand what is going on in your head. I'm sure it's a struggle, but
If you happen to like glance down at Tannen, you literally watch Tannen roll his eyes when you say what's going on in Ben's head.
yeah, I'm sure it's a struggle, but this, and I kind of like gesture around the runes. This is what I do, and it's my job to piece together what happened. And if you think that's going to find any type of closure for you, well, I'm going to need your help.
And like, Lursa's gonna look at Ben and say, all of us, even Killian, we can study what was there, but we weren't there. So
Well, Hearth was.
yeah, like, but I meant like, so
No, Killian's
like,
just being an asshole. Keep going.
yeah. So if you and Hearth need to correct us, then you might be able to change how everyone sees Arcadia. Maybe you could show us the Arcadia you knew. But that requires you to come forward with us.
I think. And he gives your hand a little bit of a squeeze. I think you're right. I think Killian is right. We should rest for a minute. Anyway, I could use it too.
Kind
To
of
be
like
honest.
pets your hand, runs down, scratches the kitty, and goes sits closer to the door.
So you see Killian kind of fall into the role of like archaeological team leader, and so he starts like making suggestions as we like start setting up like a makeshift. I don't know if you want to say camp, but
Feeling like this is my shit. This is what I live for.
This is my jam.
It's like
Ben's like, "Where's
It's
my
like-
library?"
he's setting up the dig site.
yeah, basically, yeah. And I'm like, Oliver, if you and your friend wouldn't mind just taking a look, and we'll see what you see in each of those rooms there and there. Don't go far, just take a look in, see if you see anything dangerous. And then, Larissa, if you want to take a look at these statues here. Ben, I don't know if any of this rings a bell, or Hearth. Take a look at what's here and see if you can make sense of it.
Can we take just a bit of time before we explore too far?
Yeah, I'm not telling them to like go to like spread out or anything. I'm just like I'm just setting up in this main room here.
I've consumed some of my faculties for the day, but I can get them back. I just need a bit of a rest.
Yeah, same. I want to take a short rest as well.
Okay. So, over the course of, let's see, are you guys setting down to take a short rest?
Ben would
That's
like
what
to.
Yes, I would like
Yeah.
to as well.
I would like
Party
to use that
consume.
opportunity to cast a few spells as well.
Before
Pack slots back.
before we sit down to do anything, Oliver would go and check the two rooms just to see if they're connected further out, like if things could come from them, or like make sure where we're at is secure from
That was
given
my main thought, yeah.
directions. Like he's not trying to dig into any tombs or like open anything. It's just like, does this lead somewhere else where something could, come in on us while we're having a sit down?
Right.
As you step into this room, Oliver, the smell of this acidic smell just smacks you in the face.
Rude.
Bitch.
This caustic, it's not decay, but almost a caustic-like chemical smell comes from this room.
Do I spot anything that looks odd, or is it just all just look crumbled?
It looks around this whole area is just covered with a mass of like debris and dust and crumbling masonry. You see the entrance to two rooms here and here. Over in this area, you do notice that the ground is almost slick with like a dampness.
I will edge just a smidge closer, just far enough to kind of like see this direction down this way, but kind of keeping a wide berth from anything down here.
You see a room with some debris and some various crumbled boxes and the remains of like ancient, wooden boxes and chests that are just crumbled and torn away, almost like a storage area.
Okay. The map is super dark. Can I tell what this is?
It seems to be a carving of some type.
Okay. But I don't hear any movement. I don't see anything otherwise back in here
No.
anywhere.
Not that you can tell. Do you step into this room?
No, not on my own.
By myself?
All by myself? You think I'm crazy? No. Oliver will head back from there and kind of explain what he saw in the room. I did not go all the way in, but it smells wrong in there. There's something. There's a lot of broken debris. I came back before I thought to press on further along.
As long as there's no imminent danger, I think we'll take a look at it when we're done resting here.
At least we keep an eye on this room, but it looked more for storage than anything else. And then, depending on what anybody else is doing, he will head over and check similarly into this room.
While you're doing that, switching to Larissa.
Mhm.
Larissa, what are you doing?
You're muted, Larissa.
Can y'all hear me?
Can now.
Can now.
Okay, sorry. I've pushed my mic up. So I'm coming over here and I'm just checking this to make sure that it is what I think it is. But I'm also going to sorry, I'm trying to figure out if it says I have to have this. If it doesn't say it has to be attuned, does that mean I can pull it out and pull it in?
Yeah, if it doesn't require attunement, you should be able to use it.
Okay, so I'm going to pull out the Wand of Secrets, and I'm going to see if there's a trap door within 30 feet of me, or a secret door within 30 feet of me. Sorry, a secret door within 30 feet of me.
As you pull out this wand, it's almost like a divining rod. It'll vibrate towards, and you spin it around, you point it around. It does not give out the sense that something is hidden, trapdoor or otherwise.
And then the statue in front of me, that is definitely the thing that I've been seeing, right?
It's very strange. It's carved out of the same material as the rest of the statues, but it obviously gives off a very prominent yellow color. It looks very familiar, but other than statues that you've seen depicting this being, this one has a carving in ancient Arcadian at its base. A script.
Gonna look at a moment, and before she calls anybody, I'm gonna go to do the similar things to the other three.
The other three are pretty much the same. They're carving depicting some creature of strange, unnatural body types with carvings in Arcadian glyphs and writing underneath.
I'm gonna go back to step in front of the first one I was in, and I'm gonna say, Hearth.
Hearth is going to look right up at you.
Can you come read this for me?
Absolutely. And going to walk around, take in this statue. And as I'm looking, do I know as a cleric, do I know anything about the Academia like as entities unto themselves?
Are you proficient in the skill Yogg-Sothory?
I am not.
You don't know details about them.
Got it.
They were taboo. They were heretical beliefs.
Well, and as a servitor, they likely would not have given me that input or knowledge, or would have given it to me even less readily than to a human or otherwise organic.
You know the funny part is I'm proficient in that skill.
I know.
All right, so the inscription at the bottom, Hearth is going to read, not out loud to start, but read it.
The Yellow King, he who shall not be named.
Voldemort yell.
Definitely.
I'm going to whisper to Larissa, the Yellow King, he that shall not be named.
Gonna kind of look at him. Almost like she's trying to figure it out herself. And just kind of shakes her head and she's like, there's these writings beneath each of these. Should we go and see what they say? And so she kind of like pulls out, like in her bag, pulls out her book and pulls out something to write with, and then just starts scribbling like the statue, what it looks like, kind of like taking it down and writing what it said underneath. And if Hearth is willing, I want to do it for each of them.
Sure.
Where do you go next?
I'm gonna go to this one.
Hearth?
Hearth follows. Reads the inscription at the bottom. Does not say it out loud yet.
The inscription reads, "The Eternal Dreamer."
The Eternal Dreamer.
Bill, can you describe the front of that statue for me?
You see a encephalopod-like creature with a bulbous body and clawed hands and feet. Tucked, almost dragon reptilian-like wings tucked behind it as it's set in a crouched position, its hands covering its knees and its tentacles and bulbous face lying down over its pot belly.
Okay. I'm gonna come to this one.
As Larissa starts to move, Hearth keeps step, and as we reach the statues, is going to read the inscriptions just immediately as we come up to them. Once again, not reading them out loud just yet.
As you move closer to this one, you see a carving on the bottom that reads, "The Father."
Hearth is going to take a moment at that one. And actually look at Larissa and say, "The Father.
Father,
I believe we have met."
believe we have too.
We've met those that follow him.
And she kind of like stares more intently at this one, trying to like put the pieces together from like the last arcane grave she was in, and then everything that's happened since, and since she's joined this party, like her run-ins with them, and I'm just trying to like piece it together. And just for the magical thing, I'm like, she just can't. Like you just see her like, it's almost like she's working out a really hard math equation. She just can't make it all fit.
Confused math lady.
Confused
meme.
math lady. Yeah. Yeah.
Hearth will move. While Larissa's doing that, Hearth will move down to the final statue while she's kind of piecing some things out.
Okay. The final statue. You see, it's hard to make out exactly what this is or what it's supposed to be. The other one had they had a shape to it. This one just it appears to be different aspects of animals mingled in with a mass of tentacles. There's no real form to what the artist was trying to depict with this. And the epitaph on the bottom reads, "Mother of monsters. Her milk creates them all."
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes. Mother of monsters, her milk creates them all. And as I'm looking at the statues, am I able to count the heads that are on the statue in any meaningful way?
This one you can't depict where the head is, but the others obviously have a focal point that draws your eye.
How many eyes, roughly, total? I'm trying to make a connection, wondering if this is...
You don't see any with 6.
Got it. Then Arth's gonna look at Larissa and move on.
And say thank
Okay.
you. And she shuts her book.
Ben, what are you doing?
If we are taking a long rest, Ben is gonna use a 2nd level spell slot to cast Gift of Alacrity on himself.
I think they're taking a short rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, short rest.
It's gonna, like, as he's sitting there, kind of like arms up on his knees as he's sitting on the steps, he's petting Tannen a little bit and like really struggling with this. Like, not only is he seeing an Arcadian ruin for the first time, but also this juxtaposition of the Arcadia he knows versus the one, like, it's like the people who really believed in the ideals of the Roman Empire, but never really saw the corruption and everything beneath. That's kind of where Ben is. But during the short rest, he will use a 2nd level spell slot to cast Gift of Alacrity on himself, and then use his Arcane Recovery ability to regain spell slots.
Okay.
And that's kind of where he's focused. He's listening, and he's kind of aware of what's going on around him, but he is not engaging.
Okay.
And just as a housekeeping thing, Hearth is going to go over to Oliver and use a Balm of Peace. We're the only 2 wounded ones, it would look like. Am I correct
believe
in
so
that?
at current, yeah.
Yeah, Max.
So I'm going to walk kind of through the space, and as I walk past you, you feel, with the prayer that Hearth is uttering, divine healing magic surge through your body and treat your wounds. And that is going to be 11 points
Nice.
of HP. Each of us.
And round about the end of the hour for the short rest, Ben stands up, kind of looking a little refreshed, a little more energetic, and for the first time steps into the space.
Okay. Hearth, what are Killian? What have you been doing?
I'm going to spend the short rest regaining my 2 pack slots and casting detect magic.
Okay. Walking around casting detect magic, the only magic you're finding in this room is there apparently is a arcane lock on the door leading deeper in.
Okay.
Now, above this door is written a warning in Ancient Arcadian.
So like what I wanted to do is like towards the end of the short rest, I want to cast detect magic so that it stays up as long as possible when we start actually doing things.
Okay.
So I can concentrate on that for 10 minutes.
Okay.
If I know we're kind of like making the rounds of what everybody's doing here, but along whenever you get back to Oliver, there's
I'm about to.
okay.
Yeah.
Timeline wise, this is gonna zip back just a bit because we've progressed through everybody, but
Yeah, I'm bouncing around because all this is happening at the same time.
Mhm.
So as you step into this room, you see the walls of this room. It smells. The first thing you notice, it smells of decay, of natural decay, forest earth, bodies, whatever, just decay and stagnant air. As the walls of this room are lined with basalt, purple stoned coffins that are carved.
As he enters this space, a little growing progressively more unnerved of what exactly is going on here. A whisper from an ancestor kind of mingles into his mind for a moment as he will use his racial ability to detect magic on the area, kind of here at the beginning of the short rest.
Normally, there are natural magics. There's the weave. As Oliver's as aware as he can be with being a furbolg and having the natural ability to detect magics or sense the weave around him. In a strange sense, you sense the absence of it in this room. There's something almost, you felt it once before when you or yourself were in a cell.
Well done, Bill.
Well done.
If there's not an immediate path anywhere else, he will take that information back to the group and convey it. But kind of that he would come back out if he doesn't sense an immediate danger out of there and make his way back, probably right around as Hearth makes his way over to him to get him this little healing touch business.
Nearing the end of your short rest, Oliver, as you turn back around, roll me a perception check.
Sure. Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Total on perception is going to be 22.
With the light being given off by Hearth, and everyone, as you step down these stairs, you notice an odd sight with a 22 perception. Out of this room that you explored, you see almost like running water silently around the corner of this wall. That black moisture that you saw in the corner is slowly creeping around the corner and starting to flow down the stairs.
Larissa, you might... that is... Look to the stairs. Back away.
So I'm gonna look to the stairs.
here you see this puddle. It just looks like a puddle of black liquid just slowly flowing down the stairs.
Have I seen anything like this before?
You have not. Nope. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to take a couple of steps back towards the door. Like enough away from the stairs.
And we can all see this as it comes in.
As Oliver points it out, you do see that the entire stairwell now coming out of this room is taken up by this very moist looking, flat against the ground. Like, it's not bubbling over. It's just this very flat, dark, wet slick that's just rolling down the stairs as if a puddle itself is moving.
We've already completed the short rest, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this is happening after that. Okay.
I said just as the short rest ends.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Can I make some kind of like intelligence check to try to remember if I remember reading about anything like this, or if like other people have talked about encountering something like this?
You can try. You certainly can try.
Sure. What do you want? History?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is everyone located at while he's doing that?
I guess where they
on the
are.
map?
Oliver
Yeah.
would have run up, his echo shifting over towards the next closest person that it could be near to, but he will be avoiding the runic circle in the middle, but like making his way across the room towards whatever this encroaching something is.
Bill, roll a 21 history.
You've heard of like digs like this. You've heard people talk about like oozes and, you know, the mythical gelatinous cube. But their descriptions don't match this thing.
I'm going to call out to Larissa. Larissa, please move away from it as far as you can.
Okay.
Killian's hands fall to his guns, and he looks to you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, any ideas?
And without really, I mean, thinking about it for a second, but I am going to Sacred Flame here as it's kind of coming down the stairs.
Okay. That's dexterity on its part.
It's a dex, yeah, save.
Is that a spell effect?
It is a spell.
And so they'd make a dexterity saving throw?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they do get advantage.
If they have the ability to do so. Kind of in tandem with Hearth, I want to see what one of my Eldritch Blast shots does to it.
So, 16.
What does your Sacred Flame look like, by the way? I don't remember.
That, yeah, 16 just matches. So, as the light from Hearth's chest flickers a bit or dies down as flame shoots out, and a white-hot radiant flame just surges out, striking the stairs, and as it stands here, if it misses, it's going to hit the walls in the corridor and not hit the stairs as much, or whatever the thing does? How does it react?
As this sacred flame comes in, the puddle itself preternaturally just instinctively moves, and you start hearing this whining, like stretching noise as the puddle from a solid flatness begins to bubble up onto itself, forming pinnacles in a solid mass as eye sockets start to open up within to it, and I'm gaping maw, and then another, as it starts going and move. As this creature, Bill can't do that. See if I can send this to be able to. Guess not.
What are you trying to do?
As it's reacting to Hearth's sacred flame, I imagine my Eldritch Blast would connect with it fairly quickly afterwards, as the faces are like popping up.
Yeah. Well, I was getting into. I'm trying to describe it dodging. Their, let's see, copy image. I'll send it to Sad because they're not going to say that. You see this.
Yeah.
What the hell?
As
Well,
Welcome to Bill's
that's
mind, y'all.
cute.
I mean, it is. It's kind of creepy cute. I don't understand.
so,
That's my
as
next
this
familiar.
Theoretically,
see,
you
it's
show
like-
that to the stream there. Yeah, there we go. Super cute,
so-
guys. Super, super cute.
this creature. Basically, you're going to be able to hit it with the Eldritch Blast, and I'm just describing it dodging.
Yeah, that's fine.
First, this creature begins to roil and boil and get a form as these tendrils whip out and attach themselves to a wall, and the creature moves itself to here.
Gross.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That thing is terrifying looking. The mini picture is way scarier than the picture you posted in the chat.
Right.
I mean, they're both pretty
Uh,
gross.
Question not pertaining to my character. Do Oliver's gauntlets react at all?
That was going to
No.
be a question in a moment, but
Okay.
yeah.
Nope. They would have reacted when you walked in the room.
Curious. Cool. Yeah, full combat mode, y'all.
So, at this point, let's, because you were holding it, let's get the Eldritch Blast off, and then after that, we'll be rolling initiative.
So as I see Hearth's chest flash and the sacred flame bursts out, my hands drop to both of my pistols and basically quick draw and fire. 2 bolts of Eldritch Blast. Ooh, holy shit! I just rolled double nat 20s on my Eldritch Blast.
What?
Alright. Okay, so this is 2d10 and then 2d10. Alright. Do that. Let me know if this comes through on Astral. A solid damage roll, too. It's 30 points of Eldritch Blast, force damage. And I guess it blasts it back 10 feet. I guess it just blasts back into the statue that's there behind it.
So, you said 30 points of damage?
Yes, sir.
Man, that is a wild set of Eldritch Blasts there, man.
Hell yeah. So what it looks like, my bullets come out of the guns like normal. It's like this like ball of purple energy, but before both of them reach the enemy, it splits in doubles. So there's 4 bolts of energy that impact the creature in like different parts of its teeth, eyes.
All right. So these smack into the creature, and as it does, it's obviously wounded as smoke comes off and roiling as the acidic nature of this creature. It almost envelops its own wound and reforms itself, taking in the
like that.
damage.
Okay.
Let's get some initiative rolls, guys.
Hell yeah.
That will be a 23 for Oliver.
Okay.
Still
That's a
day
third
8
nat.
on initiative. Or
Are you serious?
But that one came through on Astral too.
Oh man.
Gillian, what's yours?
So total was a 24.
Okay, Ben.
You have your gift of alacrity. Don't forget.
Yeah, I was trying to make a macro for it real quick, and that didn't work out great. So super quick. 18, 21, 22. 27.
Man. Everybody on top
Arth?
of his.
Yeah, 5 total.
Larissa?
Is that gift of alacrity still up or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then it's 15.
I nat 1.
Oh no.
Oh well, it seems like you all are probably going to be ahead of me anyway, so I don't really care how much the spread is.
All right, Ben, it's your turn.
All right. At this point, there we go. Fixed it. At this point, with the creature being where he is still just a little ways away from me, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna step 5-ish feet closer, just so I'm within a 30-foot range, and come out swinging with a cantrip. Mind Sliver, an intelligence saving throw, please.
Okay, and that is a spell effect, right?
This is a spell, yes.
That is a 14.
Okay, so he fails. He will take 10 points of psychic damage, and he will have a minus on a d4. I actually didn't need to step up there. Minus d4 on his next saving throw. And then, so it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-ish. And Tannen is going to come hang out next to me, taking the dodge action. And that is my turn. Thank you, sir.
Looks like
Okay.
Killian is up.
Yep. Good to go.
Yep, you're up
Alright,
again.
So I'm going to fall back this way 5. 5. Actually, I'm gonna duck behind. Well, I'm gonna duck behind the pillar. Can I like come out from behind the pillar to take a shot at it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and did it look like my that the force damage did like regular amounts of damage, or did you like the way you described it? It seemed like you were trying to say that like it had resistance to that.
No, I was just trying to react to an ooze being shot.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure. Okay.
You don't know if it has resistance or not.
But yeah, so like having seen that, Killian's not sure, and so I, as I'm running back, I holster one of the pistols, and then I search around in my pack for a second for a different type of bullet, and then you see like a bullet with like a red, with like red glowing runes on it, and I slide that into my pistol, and then aim and fire, and I'm casting Firebolt to see what that does. Oh, okay. So I knew my luck was coming. It was gonna fall. So I nat 1 on that one. So Firebolt goes wide.
Just goes two. Smoke comes out of the gun.
Yeah. Bad bullet.
Or that's what I'd blame it on too if I were Killian.
Guys, it's not my fault.
I swear this almost never happens.
I was going for the Han Solo. It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
All right, that's my turn.
Oliver.
All right. So, I am crippled with too many bonus actions. So
Too much bonus action.
right, like
That's a thing.
how
man.
often does that happen? Turns out I have
For
managed.
rogues,
I
a
have
lot, but-
I have managed to make
Rogue monkeys.
a fighter barbarian that has too
Yeah.
many bonus actions. All right, so seeing this thing, Oliver is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
That was actually the thing I ran into in our one shot playing my cleric dude.
Yeah.
So it was like a bonus action to move my clone, a bonus action to move my spiritual weapon.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
fuck.
That's pretty much where I'm at. So his echo will similarly charge forward 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Alright. Oliver is going to move a full 40 to here. Bonus action to rage. And as they do, then you would again momentarily see those flits of his ancestors pop up as another look to they flit into existence momentarily next to everyone in the party close by, but then kind of fade back out as he enters this state. And I will ready an action should it come close enough to make an attack. But that will be the end of my turn there.
Okay.
If you'll allow me to specify it, I will ready an action if it nears me or my echo.
Ben,
So
what
either
was
one
your
would put it within range. So
what was your initiative again?
27.
Okay, it got changed. That's why. Okay, you're not next. You were at top of the round. Actually, its turn is next. Because I was like, why did it move? Why did you move? And that was weird. Okay,
I tested a macro. It may
that's
have,
what did
it
it.
may have grabbed it. It shouldn't have shown up for anybody, but it may have grabbed it in the tracker.
I think so. I think that's what it was.
gotcha.
So,
So
this
Ben should
creature.
have. Did Ben go?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he went top of the round.
I went
So-
first.
And what it was is he was at 27, and then he tested a macro and went at 22, and it
That-
moved him. So I had to
that-
move him back.
Sure.
That was the roll on the macro. So
He
yeah,
did the psychic
Yeah.
damage to it with the spell that he used.
So
After the double bonus.
the creature taking this damage, looking very confused at all these eye sockets and maws, looks at Oliver and uses a bonus action to create this giant, toothy, swallowing maw,
Cute.
and moves forward to attack Oliver. And you were holding an action, so go ahead.
Okay.
yeah.
That's an 18 on the die plus like an 8, I think. So
It normally would hit, but it uses its reaction to create these tough tentacles that shoot out and knock your sword to the side, parrying the attack.
So the total was a 26.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's my
18,
bad.
18 on the die plus 8. So, yeah, so 20,
okay. So-
26. If it can parry a 26, it's more than welcome to.
It can add 5 to its AC. When you said 19, I was like, oh, okay. Well, it does this.
I was just gonna pull the tentacles out, and it's gone.
That's my fault. I didn't
No,
let you finish.
you're good. You're
So-
good. You're good.
Oh my
You did
god!
it.
How dare you?
Mm.
Get rid of all that. That's man, I love it. Great Weapon Master is so much fun. Whenever you get to take a 1 to a 6, like just on the damage roll, it's so satisfying.
A little add-in to Jubei. I took Great Weapon Master and his macros for when he fights versatile with his longsword or his katana. That is automatically added into the macros. It will automatically reroll 1s and 2s once.
That's nice. That's awesome. So the total on that is going to be 16 points of damage as I bring the Magician's Judge hacking off one of those tentacles that's trying to whip out at me. Or trying
So
to, anyway.
you hack off a part of this formless spawn as it slaps to the ground, and you notice out of the corner of your eye, it almost takes a form of itself as it speeds and becomes part of the ooze again.
Gross.
Super gross.
So now it's his turn.
It makes that really awkward squelching sound. You know, like macaroni.
Oh.
You guys all know the sound.
Yeah.
That's the
You get,
word.
you get your foot stuck in mud like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Fist in a mayonnaise jar.
Oh, gross.
Okay, we don't need that kind of foley going on in this game. You get that out of my D&D. This is not a part of my fantasy.
You win, Bill. You win. Stop.
Moving on.
I surrender.
Wow. Whose fucking turn is it? Jesus.
Oh no.
We'll make a clip
Okay,
of that.
so-
That'll be fun.
Giant mouth opens up and reaches out to swallow Oliver. Does a 22 hit you?
Very much so. Yes.
Okay.
So wait, what is your AC, Oliver?
15 at current.
Okay, I can't help you with that then.
Oh wow. Okay, we're all DMs here except for Larissa. How often do you have to roll a d12?
As a DM, not very often.
Yeah, I'm sitting here searching for d12s. So
Yeah,
You-
I've only got the 2. I just have them.
I like D12s. I
Really?
feel like they're very pleasantly shaped.
you take
Yeah.
15 points of piercing damage
Okay, so I'm raging, so half to 7. Yes.
plus 6 points of acid damage,
Okay.
and then make me a athletics check.
Alrighty. I have advantage on that since I'm raging. I'm really glad I picked that as my bonus action. That is going to be a grand total of 21.
You felt like it was about to hold on to you with its maw, with these acid dripped hard teeth it's created out of its own body. For a creature that was almost identical to an oil slick or a puddle, these are bony protrusions and teeth that are now sunk into you as they burn and hiss with the chemical reaction of it going into your skin. It
Nope,
would have held
don't
on
like
to
that.
you. It would have held on to you pretty firmly, but you were able to break yourself away. And with the strength of your athletics check, you're able to rip, and you actually feel the breaking of some of those teeth as the creature just reforms more.
Ugh.
So, next round is next is Larissa's ability, or round turn thing.
Okay. I'm gonna try to throw my eye of the basilisk at it, and it says I have to, when I first throw it or first use it, declare if I'm gonna try to use its ability.
Are you attuned to it? I do
okay.
believe that requires attunement.
That one does. Hold on. Doo-ba-doo.
Because I created that one.
You did. Okay, so then I'm gonna try to use Dagger of the Depths, because why not? And that one also says I have to say if I'm gonna use its ability, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to use that as ability. Oh wait, wrong one. No. Well, that's still +6, so that's a 13.
13 to hit. It
Mm-hmm.
misses.
Okay, then I'm gonna use my bonus action and use my insightful fighting.
Okay. See how charismatic this Wow, it does have a +2 to charisma.
Hey, charisma can be terrifying.
I know.
Yeah.
Just presence at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Thick.
As a 14 on my roll, so
You have insightful fighting on it. You are aware of the moves. You're pretty sure you are aware of the moves that it's going to make as it dons a pair of sunglasses.
I'm okay. That's my go.
All right. So, Hearth is a little frustrated that that sacred flame missed. We are gonna. Okay. Yeah. All right. So. Well. No. Sorry. Get about right here. Within range. So Hearth is going to run up quickly, uttering divine words as the light from Hearth's chest forms, coalesces into a burning ball of energy as the heart of the Everlight spiritual weapon emerges and flies out. And it will be right here. Actually, it's going to be directly behind the ooze.
Is the cool shades the signal for insightful fighting?
It
Yeah.
is.
Okay, that's just funny.
It's always been because I can't find a decent icon.
No, that's great.
I wish it had because he's an inquisitive rogue. I wish it had a detective's magnifying glass or something. That would be kind of fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And the spiritual weapon rolls a 16 to hit.
16 to hit. Okay, so it does hit.
Okay. We're going to do 6 points of force damage as it strikes into it.
It now surrounded on all sides. It smacks into this creature, and it reacts to it now, looking at both the spiritual weapon and Oliver.
And once the energy erupts out and slams into the back of the creature, the light that faded a bit now flares back up again, and the flames, white hot, once again emerge and try and wrap around the body of this creature. It needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah,
And
and
it
what do
needs
you?
to subtract 1d4 from that saving throw from my last turn.
So this is complicated. It gets so 1d4, so it's a 15. Subtract 1, 14.
It fails. And
Okay.
it is going to take... That's what I thought. I just didn't want to... 10 points of radiant damage.
All right. As this light that leaves Hearth pierces it, you see a smoke. As this smoking energy hits it, you see the fluid kind of burn and crisp. But as it gets wounded, it's enveloped back into the ooze. But the smell of acidic vapor comes off of it when it's hit. Oliver.
Hold on, get this off my turn.
And back to the top of the round at Ben.
All right. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So Ben's going to move up to here. Should put me, yep, within 30 feet. I'm going
Just
to...
some kind of aura on Ben right now?
That's the light spell.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's how we can see several of us anyway.
It's not important.
I disagree. I'm blind. So to start the round off, Ben is gonna use the same cantrip. So I need an intelligence saving throw from him as Ben is kind of rushing around and just kind of taps his staff into the ground, and some of those translucent silvery spikes spike up from the ground underneath Ben's staff and then lance up into the core of this creature because I don't know where its head is.
21.
Okay, nothing happens. Frustratedly, the spikes that comes up around Ben's feet coalesce into a wave of telekinetic force that lances out and strikes it. I need it to make a... it's probably better at this than I hope he is. Strength saving throw, please.
And you're casting 2 spells?
This is not a spell.
Okay. But the spell-like effect?
No.
What is it?
This is telekinetic. This is my telepathy bonus action. This is not a spell effect.
Okay.
So put your advantage away.
That is a 17.
Okay, he succeeds. Nothing happens. End of turn.
Shit.
Okay.
Alright, so you hear Killian cursing from his last misfire, and he's like blowing the smoke away from his gun. He's like, and then he snaps the gun open and pops the bullet out onto his hand, and he like blows it off. He's like, okay, that should work better. And then I snap it back into the gun, and then I'm gonna firebolt him again. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, that's a little better. 22 to hit.
You hit.
Okay, with the firebolt, that is 2d10. That's a 9 damage roll.
Right. Then again, this heat of this firebolt smacks into the creature, and Oliver, since you're right there, you see the slick, oil-like nature of its skin start to crisp and harden and blister, and then the ooze just absorbs it.
And then I'm going to shout out at Oliver. Maybe aim for its head. And I'm going to give you a bardic inspiration. It's a d6.
Nice. Which one?
And that is my turn. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. So, I will start this off with my Echo moving to here. And then I am going to take the attack action. Hold on. I don't believe it specifies. I'm going to take action, one additional day. Okay. So, timing wise, you tell me how this effects may vary, but this is the intent. So my Echo is going to come forward, and as part of my attack action, I'm using my Unleash Incarnation to make an attack. Wait, what am I doing? No. Sorry. Back up. Start with 2 attacks. I will go ahead and... Yeah, screw it. We'll make them reckless. 2 attacks from my position. So that's a 26 to hit on the first attack.
Hits.
And a 25 to hit on the second attack.
Hits.
To... 10, 17 plus 4 is 21. A total of 31 points of damage from those two attacks.
Woo!
And then I am going to bonus action to swap positions with my Echo back over here and unleash Incarnation for my Echo to make an additional attack from where I was standing.
Nice.
That'll be a 22 to hit.
Does hit.
Oh, once, twice in a row. Sad day. So that's 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 5 is 13 points of damage on the last attack.
All right,
And
so
that will end my turn.
it's not looking very good.
Did you aim for the head? Zzz.
I tried.
So on its turn, it uses its bonus action. The mouth goes away, and let's roll a 50-50 since there's two of you. See if he attacks you or the Echo. We'll flip a coin. So, okay. So, it creates this. Oh, lack of a better term, phallic-like appendage that just hardens, the skin starts to harden as it reaches out and slaps at Oliver here.
Bill, no.
This is not my fantasy, y'all.
No,
dick
no.
slapped.
Oh, man.
Getting attacked.
Family show.
It's getting attacked by a ramming attack.
Well,
While still making those squelching noises.
it has it has advantage on the attack.
Okay, so it crits. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You've left yourself wide open.
Oh, this is
You're making it worse, Derek.
This is gonna be pretty bad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh god.
Well, I tried to misdirect it. It did not work.
The joys of improv when you have to say something, and it's not always the best thing.
Or is it?
It's the have to say something question mark. Like, did you
Well,
have
you
to
have-
say something?
You have to say something when you're the DM.
When in doubt, fall back on the dick.
You take 63 points
Oh my
of
god.
piercing damage.
All right, cool. So that's reduced, thankfully. 63.
Yes.
What?
Make me a DC. Make me a strength saving throw.
63. All right, so that's reduced to 31. Ow.
Part of me was like, "Oh man, I'm so."
I'm sorry. You said a strength saving throw.
Sorry, what'd you say, Brandon?
I said, part of me was like, "Man, I didn't have emboldening bond on," and then I was like, "I wouldn't take that damage."
No. Just auto kill yourself. That'd be a good idea.
You got advantage, so that's something.
All right. Double checking thing. Strength's the same. Yeah. Okay. So, because I just super don't want this to happen. I'll bank that. I shouldn't need it. That is a 22 on my strength saving throw.
Okay. You are not knocked back 5 feet and knocked prone.
Can I choose? Can I choose to just move 5 feet away? Please.
No, you would have got knocked prone. It just happened to crit with it, and the damage does 40-12. Like the normal attack does 40-12.
Yeah.
Crit it with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
As it basically uses its bonus action to create this really hard tentacle-like appendage just to ram you and slap you with it to get you away from it because of how much damage you've been doing.
This is the scary thing about D12s is it can be like really unsatisfying, but then other times it's like holy shit. I just knew
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So,
Oof.
That is its turn, which should be enough. Next up, Larissa.
More than enough.
Yeah. Okay, so just
When
pull out
you-
my bow.
When you
Once
still manage
again-
to smack the barbarian for half their health while they're raging.
True. Once again, counting. Like shakes her head, pulls one out, and shoots her bow. I'm using a lucky on that. There's just like too many low rolls in one day. That wasn't any better. That's a 14.
14.
Mm,
It has resistance to piercing,
Okay.
but Larissa, in the stories of the past, how would you describe killing this formless spawn?
Did this thing really have 1 hit point left after
What?
Oliver went to town on it?
That's so.
God damn it!
After watching it, like, take its tentacle thing and smack at my friend, I pull my bow out, make a precision aim, and let it go. As it
Do you aim for the head?
I aim for the head.
Following Killian's advice.
Following Killian's advice, aim for the head and kill it with my bow.
Jacob, you
So-
realize that if you hadn't double rolled your ones on your great weapon
Yeah,
strike, you'd have
yeah,
been
no,
good.
I'm
I know,
very,
I was like,
very aware.
So, you watching this creature just roll in on itself, the massive tentacles of constantly creating body parts and decreating body parts. At one point, right before you launch your arrow, you do see it form kind of a head-like with 2 faces and a smiling maw just for a split second. And that split second, you let loose your bow as an arrow boom, boom, right into the head of this creature for a split second when there was a head. And the creature immediately loses mass and forms back into a black, brackish-like puddle, and just starts these wafts, not dangerous, but these wafts of acidic, like, smoke just starts coming off of it as it starts to evaporate.
Booby.
And Oliver immediately backs away. Well, that was unpleasant. Thank you.
You did all the work.
Hey, clearly not quite enough.
I'm going to come up to Oliver and cast a Cure Wounds. Oh, and that is going to be... Man, not rolling well on these cures today. That's 5 points, 5 hit points. Rolled a 1. That's like the 3rd one today I've rolled on heals.
Hey, thank you regardless.
So from where he is standing, Ben can see into the room with all the coffins.
Yes.
And immediately interest peaked. Ben's like, what? And heads over there.
Okay.
Tannen comes to follow him, and he
But before you get too far, Killian would be like, why don't you let me take a step in there first, because I have my detect magic going still.
you won't find any.
Any what?
Oliver would have like explained the phenomenon as he was coming back out of that room.
Actually,
Well, no, that all happened like right as he was coming back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, point of reference, you saw Mr. Uzi over there.
Yeah.
Horrible nickname, Mr. Uzi. Like,
Everything about that was horrible.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
I can make the noise again.
No,
No.
you cannot.
Mm-mm.
You may not.
Never.
Nope. Nope. Yes, Tiff. Yes, we hate that name too. We very much hate that name.
Yeah.
Oliver
So-
especially hates that name. No, you don't get to hear the noise. No. I clipped it. I clipped it. We'll post it later.
Yeah.
I'm not putting myself back through that again.
She didn't get to see the
Horrible.
epic dick slap either.
Oh no.
This is. Are there symbols on these coffins?
Some of them do have symbols. Some of them look like they were in the process of being carved.
I just want to, like, I'm not looking at anything in particular. I just want to do a quick pass through here with my hand out to detect magic. See if I sense anything.
With detect magic, you detect the presence of the weave. You're detecting a lack of it in this room. It looks to be, you see a combination of tools and stone implements. This looks to be a carving room for these coffins.
Are these
Being-
coffins sealed, or are these like?
They are shut right now. They have lids on them.
I don't like the use of the words right now. This entire room is absent of magic, or it's just the coffins?
You're sensing it coming from. It's very similar to when you were locked away in the asylum, and you guys had those stones surgically implanted in your chest that
Okay.
severed your connection to the weave.
I'll reach a hand up as Killian's got this confused look on his face as he's looking around. If you're trying to imprison someone forever who was adept at the arcane or the holy and blind them from the presence of their gods forever, this is how you do it.
So I'm sorry, I'm still a little confused. Is it the tombs, the coffins in particular that are sealed from magic, or the whole room?
The coffins.
Okay, got it.
You sense it. It's like shining a flashlight into a dark room. You lighten everything up, but it's a dark doorway that will not receive the light.
Yeah, got it.
You feel, as you sense around, the weave is in everything, but it's not in these stone caskets.
Just trying to keep you safe, friend.
As we hear that, especially what Ben said, I'm gonna see the coffins around, and I'm standing next to Oliver.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
What they?
if there are ways to trap people as Ben is speaking of, would you like to free some souls with me?
I am not sure what you mean, but I will help how I can.
I saw you move your token over here, Killian. When you move into this small room here,
Over here.
yeah, you do notice that there's stone shelves that are lined in different clay jars. A bunch of them.
I think I know what this is, but I don't think Killian does. Can I make a roll for that?
Yeah.
As a history, or
Yeah, history
want?
work.
17.
In some of the burial rites that you've encountered within Arcadian, they very similar to the Egyptians. They use
These are
canopic
these are
jars.
canopic jars. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Creepy. I have like no sense of magic from this room, though.
I would like
So,
to
yeah.
take a moment in this space to step into the room with the coffins and try to identify if they are currently sealed or occupied.
Roll me an investigation check.
Brandon, what were you starting to say there? Sorry, go ahead.
We're gonna let Gabe do that.
I'm gonna use my inspiration, and I'm glad I did, because that turns that into a 25.
Nice.
None of these are sealed.
I point you, Oliver, I point to the casket over here from whence the ooze, the direction they came from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move towards it.
Oliver will follow behind, but as you head up the stairs, perhaps we make certain there's no more friends hiding back here before we do anything more. Yes?
Sure.
I'm a little leery of anything that might be contained in this place.
Heart will.
As you search these two rooms, the smell of decay and rot, now that the acidic creature's gone, is very permeable.
So, in this first room here, these carvings, are these anything that I recognize, or is there anything of note in this area?
This looks almost like a dumping place, of just, you see broken tools, piles of trash, and these carvings look like they were in the process of being carved long ago. They're partially rough stone and partially detailed carvings. They could have been at one time supposed to be depictions of different gods.
Okay. But they don't match any of the statues out in the main room?
No,
Okay.
they do not.
Okay. If there is nothing else of note, I will make my way down to where Hearth is, as he is exploring as well.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of climb over the coffin here and position myself. Just look at Oliver.
Do these runes or symbols mean anything to you?
Do they speak in ancient Arcadian, or are they written in ancient Arcadian, Bill?
They are written in a language and a style that smacks of heretical thought to you.
When I was looking at the others, there is a absence of magic that I don't really know how to explain, but these coffins seem odd.
As Ben said, I believe they are meant to trap those. Trap those that go against the teachings of those who built these coffins. Just kind of like climb over it and position on the other side to. I would like to try and open it, if you would like to join me.
Are you going to help him, Oliver?
Absolutely.
Give me a combined strength check.
$25 from Oliver, and I can move something like 1,200 pounds.
That's 16 from me.
Okay. As you go to open this coffin, we go back to Ben and Killian. So what are you guys doing?
So I'm sitting behind Ben. Could I have heard what Killian said about the clay pots?
I'm gonna say sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna look over to Ben and say, I kind of remember something, as Trish reads her old notebook. I kind of remember something about that last arcane graveyard we were in. It kind of ties to these pots, I think. We we saw a room where things were being dissected and moved and experimented on. It, I remember the person that we talked to. He was saying something about that they were trying to like cultivate their talents, and I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what he said.
I don't know that now is the time for that.
He was Arcadian.
Wait, what?
I believe he was Arcadian because, and Bill could tell me if I'm remembering wrong. Like, we released him.
So very like serious face all of a sudden as Ben's been kind of shaken, and he grabs both of your arms and like on either side of your shoulder. What did you just say?
I just shake my head. I'm like, it was a while ago, but we went to the arcane graveyard. There were things like this. There were tubes with creatures with people in them, and there was a brain, I believe. I can't.
Is Ben
It's
at all familiar with brains in a jar?
Roll a intelligence check, or yeah, just to see if you remember.
Just straight intelligence? 18 on the die plus 4.
Because the reason it's intelligence is you're mainly trying to piece together the broken information that she's giving you.
Yeah.
In ancient Arcadia, they believe that the mind of those magisters that were the most precious thing, and upon their death, most of them were placed in almost a living library. They were placed in these bio-arcane cylinders, that the nature of which is forgotten where Arcadia learned this technology. But the brain of the sorcerer or mage would be removed and placed in these cylinders, and they could be kept indefinitely, and their knowledge can be shared with those that possess the cylinder itself. It created these living libraries of saved knowledge from the past that allowed this advancement of arcane memory.
Picturing Futurama in my head.
I literally just put in chat when Eldritch Mythos meets Futurama.
In a way, but not a head. It was literally just a brain.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
And depending upon the nature of the cylinders, some had auditory devices to where the brains could talk, and most of the time it was through telepathy. It was a way that these magisters could share their knowledge beyond death.
So you are telling me now that you have met presumably a magister?
I can't. These pots just brought something back. I don't.
What was their name?
Bill, can I roll something? Because I don't. I have it. It's like scribbled.
Sure. You can just roll just a regular knowledge to see if you can remember.
Okay. So just like a regular knowledge, like a investigation, or insight, or what do you want me to roll? Just a d20?
Yeah, let's do insight, because you're an inquisitive rogue, so let's do insight.
That's a 17.
17. Okay, so basically what you remember is your last party delved into a dungeon called, in Arcadia, it was called the Planier Nexus. And what the new Arcadian expedition called it was the Arcane Grave. Okay. Upon digging deep into this, you found the brain of a magister that put himself into the jar to escape whatever calamity befell Arcadia. he made a deal with you to share secrets of the arcane grave.
Right.
If you took him to what was known as the carving room, and there you placed his body on a glyph that, once the brain removed from the jar, the glyph reconstituted and built his body again, freeing him from the jar.
Okay.
Upon helping you, he then teleported out and left. His name was Ab al-Halim, Imperial Magister of Arcadia.
Imperial Magister of Arcadia?
Yes.
Okay. So, you kind of almost see her like you've seen her 100 times before, like try to piece her memory back together, not really sure what happened before the jail, trying to remember how she got to the Dreamlands, like just like in her head, and then all of a sudden it's like something clicked. And she said, we were in a place called the Planar Nexus. The new Arcadia called it the Arcane Graveyard. And we found a brain in a jar, but we found out the Magister actually put himself in there to save him from what became of the Arcane Empire. In order for us to gain information that we needed about the creature below and what to do about these dark entities, we agreed to take him to the carving room. And when we placed his body on there, it's almost, or the brain on there, it was almost like these glyphs rebuilt his body. And after he helped us, is an Imperial Magister? Ahab Al, like she's trying to get the name out, like Ahab Al Harem, maybe?
Keep your time. While Ben doesn't necessarily know the connection between Belathan and Abba Halem.
It was common knowledge. They were
Okay.
lovers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He, as soon as he was back, it's almost like he disappeared in thin air. He was gone.
There's a moment of pause as Ben's absorbing this information. And then his eyes start moving around wildly. He starts kind of breathing heavily and almost has a bit of like a panicked look on his face. I have to find him. Oh my. And as he's looking around, remembering where he is, and looks over at Killian and sees Killian like looking through jars and being like officious.
Killian.
Yeah.
Remembers one thing at a time. I have to find this man. I have to.
How is he even still alive? I say as I'm examining jars.
He froze himself, is from what he told us.
He what?
Go ahead, Larissa.
I just didn't hear what you said.
Oh, he said he suspended himself, that he took his brain out to preserve it because he saw the fall of the Empire.
Are you not familiar with the Great Library?
Derek is not familiar with the Great Library. Is Killian?
Doesn't ring a bell.
No. Did it burn down suddenly, or it's not something I've heard of? Is this an Alexandria situation?
No. We'll explain when you're older, I guess.
When I'm older, but
when you're my age.
Well, how old are you?
Yikes.
Approximately 3,050.
No, that doesn't count. You didn't live all those years.
Technically, he did.
But he did in the Dreamland.
I did.
Yeah.
Time travel doesn't count. That doesn't. No, I don't think that's how it works.
We'll worry about that when we get out of here. But basically, the Magisters could preserve their brains. That and that our brains would carry on knowledge.
That sounds very unnatural, but also
It's actually
useful.
quite fascinating. But and there's this moment of like, what to do, panic on Ben's face, and he looks over at the coffin, and there's the brief swell of telekinetic energy, and he uses his telekinetic shove to unhinge the lid of it and just expedite this process. Ben's theory is that this is a carving room, so this is where the coffins were being prepared.
So back to Oliver and
Like very rash and reckless
And
from
Hearth.
a point of view.
you get this coffin open, and it's empty.
Did anybody else hear that the grinding noise of like a door opening? Because
Timing
that
was
like
perfect.
just happened, and yeah, it was creepy.
I thought you were literally saying that to their like in character. Like, did anybody just hear that grinding as this lid comes off?
I think you guys are a little far for me to hear you, but
Yeah. Well, as we get it off, then Hearth is. Oliver, you're going to see Hearth actually look relieved. Well, that is one. It has not been used for its purpose.
Shall we check the other one?
Hearth is gonna hop right over and say, "I would like to do so."
does that sound?
So,
Before we
back-
leave this one, is there anything? Is it just smooth stone on the inside, or is there anything going on the inside of these coffins?
This was not built for comfort. You see at the base, at the bottom of this coffin, two separate sets of inset manacles that, upon turning your head and looking, are about the size of a human being, to where if they were laying on their backs, their arms and their legs would be shackled to the bottom of this thing.
Yeah. After seeing that, Hearth is done. He's just strolling straight to this thing.
Back to Ben, upon shoving this off, you see a empty inside of this coffin with two separate sets of manacles.
Help me with these others, but I think they will all be the same.
Over the course of the next, in two separate rooms, you guys do manage to get all the lids off of these. All of them are empty.
Good. Boop.
Right. So, getting that open, after we get ours open, Hearth is going to stroll into this room, see that they're doing it in the other room, and help out. Once we get them all open and see that they're all empty, Hearth is going to look toward, I'm going to look towards the door that we have not opened yet and say to Ben, specifically, but so everyone can hear, thankfully all of these are empty.
I have no idea what just happened there. I am sorry, everyone.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, we were going to end it here anyway, with Hearth translating the epitaph above the door. We'll pick up right there. When we stream again on Monday the 26th, for our special event, the mainly reason we're moving it is due to scheduling conflicts, because now that a lot of people are getting the vaccine and able to make it out, people are planning and living their lives, which is awesome. Yay. Perfectly fine with that. But, we're having to move some stuff around. So, Breakfast and Dragons will return on Monday the 26th, and we will also re-air that episode on the 1st on our normal time. So let's go ahead and end today's episode on a lighter note. And those of you that knows our tradition, we will be doing accolades for the episode. Yay! You know.
Roll off, right?
Yep, roll off. So because everyone's like, someone gets to go first.
One.
One.
uh,
14 for me.
11
Six.
for Oliver.
16.
16.
15.
All right, so Larissa, you go first.
Mine goes to Killian for those like shock grenades. They were pretty
Thank you.
awesome. It was quick thinking.
That worked out way better than I was expecting.
It did work out way better. I was like, man, it's not gonna work, and then you caused a feeding frenzy, so that was pretty cool. So.
Thank you.
And then, of course, like everybody has been like way leaning into their characters and doing everything, like doing things like for growth. It's really neat to see where everybody's taking everything, and then especially like Oliver and his shadow, because at first he was like, I don't know what you are, but okay, and now it's like kind of like a buddy, like okay, let's go. You're gonna help me.
Me and my shadow.
Yeah. That's what
Word.
I have. And thank you, Hearth, for like going along with Larissa's. I'm gonna jot everything and draw everything in detail while we're supposed to be resting. So I appreciate it.
Hearth can read. He's happy to help.
So
I think Brandon was next.
Yeah.
Brandon's next.
Yeah, I'm gonna give mine. I'm gonna go ahead and give mine to Gabe with Benyahim. Finally getting to play some of this long-awaited, it feels, exploration of a fish out of water. Intelligent, sensitive person in an upside-down world, and just glad we got to kind of help role-play that with you and explore that. That's a fun idea, and it makes the world that we're playing and existing in a little bit more real, I think. So, thank you.
So
I
next will
think I
be
was
Derek.
next.
Yeah.
Mine
Derek,
goes to
then
Brandon.
Jacob, and Gabe.
Mine goes to Brandon. So when you were standing at the threshold of this building and then you spoke the six truths, I got chills.
Yeah.
I was just like, God, like so that was super cool. That was a really cool moment for me. That was my favorite moment of the session. So
You
appreciated that.
stole mine, you jerk. Legit, it was like a goosebumps moment. It was super cool. So I will transfer that not just for Brandon but also for Gabe in that moment, because watching Ben's reaction to the recitation of the six truths and like that retraction from what was happening in that, it just the whole thing, loved it. It's super cool. Super cool. Loved that moment.
thank you. Actually, I have a real hard time for mine today because there were so many great moments, and so I'm actually gonna take the accolades given to me and just hold up a mirror. You guys all played off. No,
No,
you.
you.
No, not me. You.
Yeah.
They're like when I created Ben. There was a whole lot of like, okay, what about this Arcadian wizard and all of this stuff, and like Ben is not. He was not necessarily originally derived this way, but he has become not your typical like mage character, not your typical like, especially coming from a very strong magic derived society and where he fits within that picture. And the fact that you all have not, I would never expect this from this group, but sometimes players will shun or condemn or walk over or ignore those sensitive moments. And the fact that you guys all lean into them really, really hard is just an absolute pleasure to play across from. and to be able to see each of you tonight, or today, Jesus, habits, each of you today lean into a different moment with Ben. Like, it is so hard for me to just pick one.
Hey, next time we play, it's actually going to be at night. That's going to be weird.
Yeah. So
then we'll get it
my
wrong and say
accolade is-
today, you know?
my accolade is all y'all's.
So,
D&D
upon,
for breakfast at night? No.
dude, Brenner's awesome. Breakfast
Yeah.
with
I
Brenner
will
is
eat breakfast any time of day.
Yeah.
So Monday we're doing Brenner and Dragon.
Yeah,
Just make
Brenner
it-
and Dragons.
Nice.
Brenner and Dragon.
I'm just imagining it as as like a 70s cereal commercial. D&D for breakfast?
So, my accolade is like there's a lot of good stuff tonight. Like
Mhm.
I had fun designing the Heretics maze. And you guys are just now getting to the entrance of it. Like I had a lot of fun. Like I was like leaning into my fears, like watching crawl. I'm like, oh god, claustrophobic underwater environment with blind crocodiles. Yes, I gotta
Yeah,
do this.
it's super cool.
So, but yeah, I have to agree. I have to go with Derek, and I have to go with Jacob. What I was trying to get across with the entrance into the Heretics Maze is I wanted it to be confusing, of you guys not really knowing who's behind the creation of it. And the big hint was gonna be how the door was opened. And before it even got to it, there was an inscription by the lock that said "Speak truth to enter." It was going to be very much a "Speak friend and enter"
Right.
moment. And Brandon just jumped over that like Evil Knievel and just went straight for it. And I was like, so that's where my inspiration goes with Brandon. He's like, didn't even need it. He's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna go for it. I was like, he had a theory and he tested it and it turned out to be true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so good.
So, and it was such a chilling moment
Yeah.
because, like, I didn't realize what was going on. I
Yeah.
missed the inscription or something, and
No, you didn't even get to the
Yeah,
inscription.
we never even read it.
No, we
just went
never
for
read it.
Brandon just did it.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
oh man, even worse.
Yeah.
By worse, I mean better.
Yeah.
That was just so cool.
So yeah, that was awesome. I definitely has to go with that. But I look forward to seeing where you guys go on the 26th.
So
And
does he get the GM inspiration?
yeah, of course.
Awesome.
I thought I covered that. It's like yeah, that's where mine goes. You already have one or not?
I think, honestly, yeah, I think I already have one. I just didn't notice that I had it. So I was like, man,
Then-
that's good. It's nice to get the inspiration when you said it. And then I realized, oh, I have it.
Play it forward.
So,
You get to give it out.
Yeah, I will give it to, do you have one, Benjamin?
Spent it today. I do not.
Well, I really enjoyed the role play of two Arcadians trying to
Now possibly
come
third.
to reckoning and make peace with different aspects of the world that they lived in. And I just thought that was a fun conversation to have, and that we
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
in a fantasy world is great to take some of the difficulties that we all have with the cultures and societies we find ourselves in, and knowing that we have to explore that we have to shed some light into the dark places if we are going to move forward and understand. So thank you for helping that conversation, and please take the inspiration.
Thank you kindly.
I'm very much enjoying the conflicting views on what Arcadia used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Actually,
It's-
Bill, I 100% blame you for Ben's perspective, because when we were formulating Ben, I started with the okay, he was a Bedouin, and then he was picked up by this and picked up by that, and he expressed these talents, but how did he wind up in the Dreamlands? And you fed me the bit about him being an explorer and a researcher, and so his worldview was very much informed by that bit of inspiration.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
But it's also, like I said, it's like the ones from us from now, we're looking back at, like, with a magnifying glass, and you've been there, so it's different.
Even then, like, there's pieces of Arcadian history that Killian is more accurate about
Mhm.
than I am because of
Yeah.
my like naive cloistered perspective, and Hearth too, especially as we played through that one shot with Hearth and being more informed on how he got where he is.
It's pretty neat because it's like you're getting to see like multiple. Of course, I do what I do, but I always like to see how perspective changes the way we view things.
Oh, trust me, that one shot's not done being in play yet.
No, what? Dude, there's so many things you said in that one shot where I was like screaming and smashing my head against the desk, like, I'm not Ben right now. Don't react. Oh God.
I mean, if for those of you, which of course Jacob wasn't present, in the one shot, Belethane told Ab Ablim that something was coming and to make plans.
Yeah,
And then
and there's something
sent
else
his
like
contingency into the Dreamlands.
there's like a bunch of other stuff. Like there's like 6 more pages of stuff that I have that that Larissa has that may come out at some point.
So
if you ever notice, when I write, I like writing like it's a lasagna. It's like plot.
It's a very tasty, spoopy, creepy, dick joked lasagna.
Good.
Gotta sprinkle the dick jokes in for flavor.
I won't make the noise. I won't make the noise.
Please don't.
Thank you.
Please don't. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't
very
worry.
much for
Don't
joining
worry.
us
I
today.
clipped it. It's fine.
Thank you very much for joining us today. We do apologize for the technical difficulties, and we'll try to work them out. So join us again for Breakfast and Dragons on the 26th. Join us for Thrain Tuesday the 20th and Tuesday the 27th. 26th and 27th. We're going to be playing D&D
Yeah.
2 nights in a row.
Lots of D&D coming up.
All the D&D.
And then I do D&D with my students on Wednesday, and then I do D&D with my group on Thursday. So
Oh
it's
my
4
God.
days.
You have like a whole week.
Dude, that's a good week.
That's living the dream, man.
That's awesome.
Living the dream. On a good week, this is my good week. This is when I typically play Thrain, Breakfast and Dragons, and I play on Sundays. So yeah, it's join us on the 26th. It'll, if you can't watch it on the 26th, it'll rerun on the 1st. And always, just hit our library on Twitch and YouTube if you want to catch any back episodes.
We officially have all of our recorded content now up on Twitch here for free VOD at any point in time, up to and including our original 12-hour streamathon from Extra Life this past year. I finally got that all back up on there as well. So it is all here for viewing as much as you want to see it.
Major props to Jacob too
Yes.
for handling all that. Just
Sure,
absolutely incredible.
So,
Can't
Thanks.
snap. I'm not in a coffee shop in New York, so you'll get claps.
so thank you very much for joining us this morning. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we look forward to you guys joining us again.
Book bomb.